Greetings and welcome to episode 294 of the Words About Games podcast, a weekly news, culture, and gaming discussion podcast for words about games. I'm your host, Amy K. Alexander, and I'm joined this week by... Why are you in such a good mood? We're about to do a podcast.
Someone's got to keep the upbeat buzz.
We just spent the last 10 minutes complaining about the podcast.
About the balance of it. Terribleness. Halftime show.
Okay.
Terrible.
So, terrible, then the halftime show. Wait, you said it.
You're going to take it out of context, and I know you too well.
I'm not going to take anything
You're
out
going
of
to manipulate
context.
the context.
I don't need to manipulate anything, Moody. Look at the second thing on the list.
What it was previously terribleness.
No, it wasn't.
Until I whined, and then she added stuff in.
I've changed the first three things on this podcast 5 times, and not once, not once was all 3 things in the first part of the podcast terrible. Unless you hate Pokemon, which, I mean, you must do, I guess.
Pokemon, you've just put that in. Okay, so...
You told me to.
Yeah, I know. You said you were going to put it in. I reminded you to.
And then you reminded me, and then I said, where do you want me to put it? And you said, after the first one. And I went, all right, then. Let me just rearrange some shit, and I'll put it in after the first one.
Before that, was it not terribleness, then terribleness?
No.
Which needs to be talked about, because these are incredibly important subjects, but and everything. But damn, man, let's have some balance. Let's go to terrible, then go happy, then terrible, then happy, then hopefully a little bit more happy. And then we can forget about the terribleness.
Well, you don't tell me. Tell the people doing the terribleness.
Can I
introduce you yet? Is that cool if I just say your name right now? Or do you just want to argue for the next 2 hours? Because I'm down either way. The mysterious
I can do either one.
Yeah.
I think it'll be an enjoyable podcast, and then you can put it up on Spotify and no one can hear it all.
I know, right? Like, what the fuck was that even about? Premiere Pro just exported a 2-hour file of silence. Thanks.
I won't lie. If we got a 5-star rating for that, I love that. If we did. 5-star rating.
5 stars.
Nothing.
It's very relaxing.
It was very relaxing just hearing nothing.
Honestly, yeah, you're not wrong. Like, sometimes silence is golden. Anyway, I'm joined this week by Dafford Mark Moody. How's it going?
Me?
That's you.
Me? It's me.
That's you.
It's me.
It's you. It's you.
Hey, it's me. Hello, everybody. It's Monday. You know what that means. Bitchiness between me and Amy again. And then some news in the middle somewhere.
Something like that.
We get there in the end.
All right. I have a mandated banter section of the podcast that people seem to really like. And I know that because they've told me.
Yeah.
They like it when we just I don't know if what they had in mind for banter is me and you just tearing the shades out of each other in 15 minutes.
Oh my god. They're an old married couple.
But yeah, how's it going?
I'm not bad. Yeah, not bad. It was a lot of fun doing a reaction today with you. It was just because of how crazy it was. You were hating everything you were seeing just because of the things that we've hated before: microtransactions, terrible lazy mobile games, and everything like that. But then when it obviously got to the main thing for me, I was just like, yes, they're doing it. Yes, and I was just like,
I stepped back at that point and I was like, I'm just going to really have his moment. This is fine. This is why I let you drag me away from Elden Ring. Everything else before that, it was like, oh, let's do a reaction. Oh, look, it's
couldn't we have done it like the last 2 minutes instead of the full 14 minutes, Moody?
I said in the stream, this meeting could have been an email.
You did. No, but I think, like, honestly, I really think you should cut it and put that on YouTube, just for the shits and giggles, because it's like you and me literally just bantering like hell.
No context of me being like salty because I want to play Elden Ring and I've stopped to watch this.
Yeah, and I'm just
why
like,
Amy hate Pokemon?
Yeah, and I'm like, it's Bulbasaur Day. Bulbasaur Day. Bulbasaur's having a day. If I could have been playing Elden Ring, Mooney. Why did I pause for you? I now hate you.
I never said I hated you.
I know. I'm waiting for that day. I am waiting for that day. What? I think I'm just gonna go too far. There's gonna be a game where it's gonna be like, no. Damn it! Why am I reacting to this? No, and then it's like, we're done. We're done.
Mark your calendar.
And then she just
E3
sign off.
2022. He's gonna push it too far one day. And he's gonna be like, "Well, that game looks shit," because he does this. I just want you to know, and I know he does this on purpose. And I don't know if he knows that I know that he does this on purpose. Where he'll be like, "Oh, there's this game here he's like really excited for. I'm gonna talk shit about it." And one day he'll just go too far, and I'll just be like, "Cool." Disconnect.
Right, wait. Why don't I see it in anything? Well, what's going on here? Oh God, she did it.
She did it.
I pushed it too far, and I'll just hop in the chat and just start. Let me. And I'll be blocked from that. I'm like, your account. Let me back in.
No,
be a locker. E3 is gonna be a lot of blocking that day.
Maybe.
But I don't think I shit on your stuff, do I?
I don't even know how to respond to that. Not for real. Not like actually.
Yeah.
Not like you don't really do it. You just do it to try and get a reaction out of me. And most times I just blank.
Ignore it.
Yeah.
But I feel like I feel like I'm gonna hit a tether.
Maybe that's why I'm not a good reaction streamer, because half of the time it's you trying to wind me up and me just sitting there.
But we are still gonna do the Ubisoft one.
Oh, we're gonna do
and we're gonna
Ubisoft
be
one,
the biggest smart ass pillocks in the world that day.
If you like Ubisoft games, or you're coming in to see if anything cool is looking cool, you are not gonna want to check out our stream.
I'm gonna have cards and everything to read off.
Especially with how long those things are.
Oh bloody hell, yeah!
We're gonna keep it up. We're gonna keep it up. It was 2.5 hours one year, I remember.
Yeah, I think that wasn't the time when they revealed 2 movies and what we're still waiting for.
Oh yeah, The Division on Netflix, and they were doing an interview on the stage, and I was just like, "Why is this happening? Why is this happening? This could have been an email."
They could have just emailed the gamers.
They could have literally just put out a fucking video on Twitter or YouTube or whatever, but no, they had to be like, "We're going to do this at E3." They saw this lever marked handbrake, and they just went, "Oh, what happens if we pull this?" And then they just brought the whole show to a stop so they could talk about some Netflix show that never happened.
Yep. Yeah.
I spent 10 minutes talking about a game that never happened. They're good at that.
They really are. But apparently one of them is coming out this year, they say.
Sure is.
Apparently.
I look forward to never thinking about it.
I won't lie, I think I will probably break the Ubisoft gaming thing will be when Avatar comes out.
There's no like official how dare you play a Ubisoft video game, Moody. It's just a
Oh no, I know that. No, but just for my own thing, nothing's calling out to me anyway when it comes to their games right now. Like last year, I said I'm not touching any of their games. 9 times out of 10, Far Cry 6. I've literally read the reviews. Pretty much 90% of them all say it's the same Far Cry before. Why do I want to play the same thing I've already played 4 times earlier, or 3 times earlier in that, and everything like that?
Yeah.
And
Far Cry 3 was really fun. The other 3 times they've released it, not so much.
Yeah, but it's like, but yeah, I am intrigued to see what they do with Avatar. Just because I love that world, what James Cameron did, it's created, and it's gonna, whatever happens, unless that game's completely flipping broken, That's coming out with the film this end of the year. Unless Disney decide, yeah, we're pushing the film, guys. I'll be like, nah, not again.
It's been 84 years.
Something like that. Seriously, I think I'm going to get there eventually. It's been 84 years since I last saw Avatar. I'm still waiting for a sequel. James Cameron somehow has created a cure for life to live longer. Didn't give it to anyone else, though, did he? Just so he can create a sequel.
Of course he did.
The whole cast for the sequel are all passed away, but he's still making the bugger. He's waiting for 3D to become 3D again.
I'm trying to figure out what came first. Hold on, let me just check something.
What? If it's about films, I can tell. I can possibly tell you.
I was just curious because I remember these two films from the same period of time. Because I was living in Leeds at the time, and I was like, is the MCU older than Avatar, or is Avatar actually older than the entire MCU? No, I came out a year before. Older. Yeah. Imagine that, though. Just like the entire MCU. Basically, most of the MCU has happened while we've been waiting for a second Avatar film.
Yeah, it's been pushed back. Like it's been pushed from a year. It was meant to come out, I think, 2017, then it was pushed to 2018. Then it was pushed to 2019. Then Disney bought Fox, and they pushed it to 2021. It was meant to come out last year, and then they pushed it to 2022. And now we haven't heard anything about being pushed.
Avatar sequel.
Rumors are being pushed. There, it's out in the Twitterverse. I've heard from a source, his uncle's, great uncle's brother's cat.
I mean, that seems living on video game Twitter for the past couple of months. That seems to be how this works at this point.
It really.
You just write the word "scoop" in capital letters, and then whatever fucking bollocks you want about video games, and you might be right, but probably not.
Yeah. That's true.
Was meant to originally come out in 2014. That's fucking wild.
Yep. Each year, I think when I had my movie podcast, I think when we did most anticipated films, I think I had it like 3 years in a row as my most anticipated. Then like a few months later, it was pushed, and I was like, oh, fuck.
I think I have, as far as like your old movie podcast goes, for like the worst luck with most anticipated film lists. I think I have more of the worst luck than you, just purely because I came on one of those things in January 2020, and I was like, I'm looking for this film and this film and this film and this film, and then like most of them didn't come out because there was a pandemic.
They all got pushed to 2021. Yeah.
What the fuck?
I won't lie. I think that was most of my movies as well.
Oh, it was everyone's for sure.
Yeah,
but like if you want to talk batting averages, it's like I came in once and I did a Russ. I had the Russ effect, but on movies for that year, where I came in and I went, Dune looks fucking awesome. Ghostbusters, really looking forward to Ghostbusters. That one weird film that I never saw, which was produced by that guy that did those really awesome horror films, Get Out, and the other one, and the one that's coming out this year called Nope. I think it was called like I don't know if it was called Antlers or if it just had
Jordan Peele.
Yeah.
Jordan Peele? Yeah. No, Antlers is a different one. He's done Get Out
because he produced a film as well.
Yeah,
wasn't directed by him because he's doing Nope next, and I was like, cool.
Not sure about that.
I don't trust movie trailers. I'm not. Like
you should never trust a movie trailer.
I sound like a conspiracy theorist there. It's like I just like good films generally don't make great trailers a lot of the time. I've noticed. Where it's like, you don't want to give too much away, right? So you just put random scenes together in a thing. And it's like, is it good? Is it bad? Like, it's a fucking trailer. It's an advert.
When it comes to a director like Jordan Peele, I agree with you there. To like, it's like, he wants to keep it so ominous and that you have no idea what the hell's going on.
Yeah.
That he's only going to show you like the smallest of bits. Like, I'm going to be intrigued when the next trailer comes out to see what they actually show.
Yeah, it's like the trailers for Endgame movie. Like, they were all shit. Like the actual trailers themselves. It was just like
absolutely disagree with you of
The
that.
trailers were bad. The film was great, and I really enjoyed the film. Like we did a big podcast about it. But I was like watching the trailers, just going like, I mean, I get why you have to release trailers for the biggest movie on the planet. But like, I was just watching them going, I feel nothing. Like I feel nothing from this. This is not hyping me up in the slightest.
But there's no doubt about, like, you and me were at that time, we were in a completely different place in our lives. Like, I was in it when it came to movies and everything.
Yeah.
Like, obviously I did a podcast and everything. So like when a new trailer came out, I was just like, like we were getting like emails all the time asking when's the trailer coming out. It's like, why do you think I would fucking know? I'm a nobody, for God's sake.
No,
you think I know Bob Iger at the time when he was the CEO of Disney? You think I know that man?
When you start getting those emails right through from people who are like, when does this thing happen? Just go on Twitter, write "scoop" in capital letters, make up a date, and put it on Twitter. And now that we've brought that full circle, this is the Words About Games podcast. Every Monday, we come at you with some video game talk, some movie talk, whatever else we feel like talking about. You can get the video podcast on youtube.com/wordsaboutgamesuk or the audio version on a variety of platforms, including Anchor, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, and more. There's timestamps in the description wherever you choose to get the podcast from. So you can watch this podcast in any order you want. You can skip around to find specific things that you want to hear us talk about, or you just want to hear someone talk about, because sometimes we're the only ones talking about certain things. Am I right? Hey-yo. Or you can watch the whole thing backwards. That's fine. We don't mind. We're just happy that you're here. And if you want to hang out with us while we play some games over, and by some games, I mean you watch me play Elden Ring, you can head over to twitch.tv/wordsaboutgames, where I'm currently spending as much time as possible playing Elden Ring.
Really annoyed you can't see the yellow light and you can't see it reflected, because obviously I've got a blue wall, but I need yellow at the same time for a certain thing we're going to be talking about shortly.
Sure, okay, just hold it in your hand, like when you need to. Not obviously for the entire podcast. That would be wild. Just
Well, it's not yellow, it looks red, yet it's yellow on my side. That doesn't help. Damn you, camera!
Welcome to the world of videos and lighting. It's a nightmare. I had someone when I was playing D&D the other night, and someone was like, "Did you dye your hair blonde?" And I was like, "No, it's just the way the light is." I had the overhead light and the whole thing. It's it's a thing. It's fine.
It's a whole thing. Yeah.
It's a whole thing. Like, you remember when I turned it pink when I was doing that one stream and I held my white hot chocolate up to the camera and it was pink. And I was like, "It's not pink. It's white. Don't worry. It's not glowing. It's not glowing. It's fine. It's not radioactive." So
I wish I knew how to turn the light behind me color, because it can turn colors apparently. No idea how.
It's not an app or something.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
There was no instructions.
Oh shit.
Didn't help me.
Oh god. No instructions. That's the worst. You can see my
It really
hoodie
is.
in the thing. You can still see it.
You can see my laundry basket. It's empty right now, so it's all right.
The amount of times I've streamed a podcast with like a bag of laundry like somewhere because I'm just like too lazy to put it away. Shall we?
Shall we? I will mute myself for a while because this is long. Get some drink down, yeah, just in case.
Hashtag FuckTheWar. Game studios pledge support for Ukraine as Russian invasion continues. I didn't actually write the thing down about where I got this from, but I got it from PC Gamer. Just throwing that out there. I completely forgot to put that in. Who writes, Stalker Studio GSC Game World issued a statement on social media decrying the, quote, inhuman cruelty, end quote, of the Russian invasion of Ukraine, where it is based, and called for worldwide support for the company's armed forces. Quote, our country woke up with the sounds of explosions and weapons fire and is ready to defend its freedom and independence, for it remains strong and ready for anything. The future is unknown, but we hope for the best. Are ever sure of our armed forces and our belief in Ukraine, end quote. Since then, as Russian forces continue to push into Ukraine, other studios have shared their support for the country. Frogwares, also based in the Ukrainian capital of Kiev, tweeted, quote, "We can't just stand by. Russia attacks our homeland and denies the sovereignty of Ukraine. We are trying to stay safe, but this is war. There are no two ways about it. We call on everyone to force Putin to withdraw from our lands," end quote. Oh, no, wait, not end quote. There's more. "We're a peaceful nation, and in all the years since we gained our independence, we've never attacked or threatened anyone. Because of this situation, our work will be impacted and our lives can be destroyed," end quote. The developer of the city-building game Ostriv shared somewhat more pointed thoughts, quote, "Woke up today at 5 a.m. to the sounds of Russian shelling. Those fucking peacekeepers," end quote. The studio wrote, referring to the language Russian President Vladimir Putin used when he ordered forces into parts of eastern Ukraine on Tuesday. Sovarium studio Vostok Games, another Kiev-based developer, posted an image of the Ukrainian flag and the hashtag #StandWithUkraine. Quote, "As things stand, we are safe," the studio tweeted. "We continue our work remotely for the moment and will react to the situation depending on how it develops," end quote. Developers and publishers from other parts of the world are also taking a stance against Russian aggression. Polish developer 11-Bit Studios, the creator of the acclaimed anti-war game This War of Mine, pledged to donate all profits from sales of the game over the next week across all stores and platforms to the Ukrainian Red Cross. They also put out a statement, which is quite long. You should go and check it out on their Twitter. I'm going to skip it. Not because I don't think it's important, don't believe in it, just because it's really fucking long. Fellow Polish studios All In Games, The Farm 51, and Polyamorous Games, the makers of Chernobylite and Paradise Lost, also pledged 1 week sales of both games to the Ukrainian Red Cross. Alex Nishiporchik, CEO of indie publisher Tiny Build, said the company is taking steps to ensure the well-being of its, quote, team members and partners in Ukraine, end quote. Tiny Build is the majority stakeholder in secret neighbor developer Hologryph, based in Lviv. I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing things wrong. I'm just going to say that out loud right now. CD Projekt has also spoken out against Russian aggression, saying the invasion of Ukraine, quote, "left us shocked and outraged," end quote. The studio has pledged to donate 1 million PLN, which is $243,000, to aid organization PHH, which is preparing to provide humanitarian support to Ukrainians forced to flee their homes. Quote, "We cannot remain indifferent in the face of such injustice, and we ask everybody to join in and help in any way you can. Together, we can make a huge difference," end quote. Separate from that effort, GOG, which is part of the CD Projekt Group, promised to donate its share of profits from sales of This War is Mine and grand strategy game Slipways to aid agencies. Slipways developer Beetlewig joined 11-Bit Studios in pledging to donate 100% of profits earned from the game over the next week to the Polish Red Cross, quote, "Help Ukraine Fund," end quote. Destiny 2 studio Bungie has also pledged to donate all proceeds raised in the first 48 hours of its game-to-give drive to humanitarian aid efforts. Indie studio Amanita Design, based in the Czech Republic, condemned the invasion and said it will donate all of next week's earnings from Machinarium, Chuchel, and Creeks to Czech aid agency PIN. Metro Studio 4A Games, which relocated its headquarters to Malta in 2014 following Russia's initial incursion into Ukraine, apologized for the delay in responding to the invasion, saying, quote, "It needed time to take care of our families and each other," end quote. The studio went on to say, quote, there are no simple words to convey the horrors that happen in Ukraine at this very moment, in the country that is home to many of us. None of us has ever thought that the world of the 21st century could get to the borderline beyond which our game scenarios start resembling reality. We're neither politicians nor superheroes, we're game developers. Our large family includes people from all over the world, and all of us want just one thing, for the horrors of war not to ever break out of our imaginary worlds. But the war has already knocked on our doors, and now we can only do one thing: support Ukraine and each other. We bow to the courage of the men and women of the armed forces of Ukraine who currently defend the country," end quote. Warframe studio Digital Extremes has donated $100,000 to humanitarian aid efforts in Ukraine via the Canadian Red Cross and invited its fans to support the effort as well. The government of Canada will match individual donations to the Red Cross for aid in Ukraine up to a total of $10 million. Fellow Canadian studio Hinterland Games, the maker of The Long Dark, made a $125,000 donation to the Ukrainian Red Cross, quote, "to provide emergency services and first aid, as well as to provide clothing, food, and shelter for civilians. Remember that children are also the victims of this unprovoked attack," end quote. totally accurate battle simulator developer Landfall Games said it is working on a program to help game developers who are attempting to flee Ukraine, including, quote, coordinating co-travel, safe spaces in neighboring countries, financial help, visa information, and whatever else we can help with, end quote. Hashtag fuck the war.
Hashtag fuck the war, indeed. I don't know really where to start at the end of the day, because obviously this has been a thing that has happened this entire week.
I was talking about it with someone on Wednesday. I think the days time is meaningless these days. But like I was talking about it with someone on Wednesday. Like it was before like they actually invaded, and it was just like I woke up the next morning, and it was like I'm like doing my thing, scrolling on Twitter, and it was just like, okay, this is actually happening. Like,
yeah. It's amazing to see all these studios coming together to try and help in whatever way they can. It's what we need at the end of the day for everybody in Ukraine. I pray in God for everybody and who's still there that this gets rectified and stopped as soon as possible, and then you can come back. And all the people who are fleeing from Ukraine who want to go back can go back to their homes. When you see this type of thing, it opens your eyes, I think, a lot of things. Like, because I think I said something a while ago that, and I still think is a bit true because of how crazy the world is. That us as a species, I think, empathy has lost a lot of meaning in the world. You see a lot of people just fighting over sometimes the most nonchalant things. Sometimes it can be because of politics, it could be because of gaming, it could be because of job, it could be because of a lot of things. But and it could be even because of the pandemic and everything like that. People have different opinions, different sides, and everything where they want to stand on it. So I like empathy. I do feel like has took a hit over the last 2 to 3 years. There's no doubt about that. But when you see things like this, and there to hell, when you see the world in general coming together in support of one country to try and stop another country saying, yo, this is not right. You cannot do this. You need to stop. It kind of makes me go, huh. There is empathy in the world still. There is something there at long last, because it didn't seem like it was for a while. Like I just watched the football today, and like for one of the cup finals that were in England, and that the whole stadium like was in applause and cheering on Ukraine. Come on, we love support Ukraine, save Ukraine, and all like that. And it was a beautiful sight when you saw that. It was an amazing thing. So like, I don't know where I'm going with this. Like I said, I think I'm just rambling more than anything, because like it's hard to put into words. Like we've never experienced this type of thing. Like I don't know. I the only person I could speak to is my granddad to say how, but I don't think he really could really answer the question of how was it before 1939,
right.
You know,
like...
type of thing, how and whatnot. And it's like, what could you actually say? Because it's like it's very eerie. There's no doubt about it. The guy who is in the wrong right now. He's delusional as hell, and it's scary. Yeah. And we don't know what the hell is going to happen in the next weeks, the months, and etc. And hopefully this can be stopped, and he will be pushed back in some sort of way that makes him go, all right, I'm going to back off. But I'm just happy to see that we are coming together in some sort of way to help in whatever way you can. Like there's petitions out there, they're not petitions out there, just GoFundMe's donations type of thing, and fundraisers. Like I've donated to as much as I could at the end of the day, to try and help just in some, because I'm not there. Like I am not there. I can't hop on a flight just to fly over and try and do my thing to try and help in any way, because I won't lie, I'm a big ass wimp. I apologize. I am a big ass wimp. I would not want to I can only imagine what anyone's going through over there, and I just hope everyone I know it's a silly to think this, but I hope everyone is as safe as they can be. And fuck the war, seriously.
There'll be links to the fundraising and donations, places that you can do to like actually help as best you can, because like we can't all go to Ukraine and pick up a gun and start fighting, or go to the border and start helping refugees. Like, everybody can help in their own ways, big and small. We're just people at the end of the day, we're not people in power or people who can have as big a direct effect on these things. But there will be a lot of links in the description below the video, or if you listen to this on a podcast platform, somewhere in the description there, like, you'll be able, like, so that you can help, like, and I urge you to help, because it is a humanitarian crisis above anything else. Like, war doesn't help anybody ever. Like, all that's going to happen is, like, ordinary people, like citizens of Ukraine, are going to suffer and die. And yeah, I don't know. Like, I put this in because I think it's important to talk about and recognize, but, like, we're not going to discuss the geopolitical climate of planet Earth in a video game podcast. Nor do I think I don't have that vocabulary to properly discuss that. So, like, I like, we could dissect, like, the UK government and how it's in the pocket of, Russian oligarchs. We could talk about Chelsea Football Club. We could do a lot of things, but I think you've hit on something, which is just right now, like, I think every human being on the planet owes it to themselves and to, like, people who are suffering right now as we're recording this, right now as you're watching this, unless something changes between now and then, like, to like, do anything that you can to help those people that are suffering. And I think that is where the best focus is right now.
Yeah.
It's good to see game developers, game publishers stepping up and helping in material ways. Like, we talked about this when big movements have come up in the past, where sometimes it's just words, and words are great and they're very pretty, but material help is always the best way to help. So it's good to see companies stepping up and funding aid and humanitarian aid to help the people that are definitely going to be suffering from this. So I think your point about empathy, I think that's, as someone who, even as I was reading the news story, had no idea, like, what to talk about and what to say. I think you basically took it exactly where it needed to go, from two idiots sitting on a video game podcast talking about things that are just so beyond your comprehension, right? Like, we've never, like, I mean, there's war and conflict. There has been, like, constant war and conflict on the planet Earth while we've been alive, but we've never been in. I don't feel that we've ever been in a situation where it's like, this could legitimately lead to a really big conflict. Like, there are there are a lot of very scary parallels between what's happening right now in Ukraine and what happened in the 1930s. And I think the thing is terrifying.
I think the thing that is that why, like you said that we've been alive when there's been wars on and everything like that, but when it's come to those wars, none of the ones, I guess, who our country has joined, obviously, like the USA or something like that, to go against, that we're the ones who are we're never gone up against a country that has nuclear capabilities.
There is that.
This is the thing about, and knowing that Russia has not only nuclear capability, they have the most nukes. This is a fact. It's been proven multiple times. I think they've even stated it themselves on many occasions. And it's behind, and they are behind a man who does not see. It just seems completely crazy and all over the place, and we don't know what he's going to do next. It's frightening. There's no doubt about it. And like we're just two idiots, like you said, on a podcast talking about video games. But when real things like this is an important thing that needs to be spoken about in any way necessary, and
Yeah,
like I say, hopefully this time next week we'll be hearing something that's changed, that's not good, that's going to relieve our fears, I guess, a little bit. But we'll see. I hope this gets stopped as soon as possible, and everyone in the UK can go home.
Yeah, and go home safely and live in actual safety. I think is an important point of that. But right now, I think the best thing to center it on is help where you can. There are links in the descriptions of the podcast. You can find information easily enough on Twitter. Be careful. What I will say is always be careful on social media, especially at times like this, in immediately sort of hitting a retweet button or a share button, like because something has gotten you angry or upset you and you want to share it, because misinformation is a big problem at the best of times, but especially when there's a war going on. So always double check everything that you're sharing to make sure you're not sharing misinformation. Would be another thing I would say, like.
The only thing I think is a little bit different to what I think what was the 1930s and everything like that. The whole country was behind that man. The country's not behind this man. Like there's active protests that are happening.
I mean, there are active protests. Yeah,
there's no doubt that to what I know from history and what I've researched and everything like that, there was nothing compared to what was not really like that in Nazi Germany.
The thing about
you have to what everyone we know what we're talking about and everything like that.
I mean, yeah, we are talking about the rise of fascism in Germany in the 1930s. I think the problem is a lot of history class. Not a lot of people. That's wrong. A lot of history classes. A lot of things that people learn about. And I'm not going to sit here and claim to be an expert on the subject. I'm not. But a lot of like things that people are taught about that particular period is focused on 1939 and 1945 as opposed to the decade before.
Leading up to it, yeah.
Weirdly enough, it was actually a video game that opened my eyes to a lot of how that happened, like in 1939. It's called Through the Darkest of Times. It was a video game I got sent a few years ago to review it, and it was about the period leading up to World War II as opposed to about World War II. It was very eye opening, but there are a lot of parallels. Like I mean, props to people who are putting their safety on the line to actually protest in Russia, and the ordinary people who are actually going out there and doing that, because that's an incredibly brave thing to do. Given the climate in Russia and the possible repercussions for actually doing that. And yeah, fuck war, fuck the war. Help where you can. I think I've said everything I can really add to that. Without repeating myself. So let's move on from that. Again, links in the descriptions of the podcast. Go click them. Go educate yourself. Go learn. Go support where you can. Even if support is just sharing links, that's still support. And we'll move on to the next news story. So you've heard of tonal whiplash, but here's some tonal whiplash for you. Moody, tell me about Pokemon.
Pokemon Generation 9 has been announced, Amy. You were there. You streamed it with me, reacted with me and everything. It was a beautiful time.
Coming out of that to this is fucking weird as fuck, man.
I won't lie, yeah, but I think it just balances a little bit, man. I can understand. But I'll say this right now. If people let us know in the chat, in the comments, would you like it to be a little bit more like this? Or would you like it to just let Amy go full on reigns and put misery the whole time?
I would never put misery the whole time.
Yeah. Oh no, but no. Honestly, like Yeah, the new region for Pokemon is here. Like I've said many times that I do believe there was going to be another Pokemon game coming this year. If it was Generation 9, or if it was probably Let's Go Johto or whatever the hell everyone's been hoping it was going to be, if there was ever going to be another Let's Go game. And we have it, and we have the new starters and everything. Now let's see if I can say the words of these starters.
You're on.
Quackly, the duckling Pokemon. It's the water type. Then we have Fukuko, the fire croc Pokemon, and then we have the main one, Ringatito, grass cat Pokemon. The grass cat Pokemon looks absolutely amazing. I'll say this right now. Please don't mess up this evolution line. Like, seriously. Like, don't want it to happen with Amy again.
I can't go through that again. Moody wants me to finish a Pokemon game sometime. Yeah, you don't need to be humble, Moody. You said against people who were telling you to your face that you were wrong, that there would be a new Pokemon at the end of 2022. Like, fucking go for it. Go off the chain. Because we are not right often.
You were wrong. Excuse me. Yeah, she's right there. I am not right often.
Like, neither of us are right often.
But when I get it right, I get it right. I said Xbox would combine Xbox Live and Game Pass together, gold. I said that.
Are we doing a
Amy
greatest
said
hits?
Amy said what Xbox One X was going to be. She said that. She said play anywhere, and I've said there was going to be a Pokemon game this year.
I got Fallout 4. I nailed that one.
Yeah, you
Last
said
Guardian.
Fallout 4.
I said Last Guardian as well. Like, when it came back, I predicted when it came back. I predicted that they would say it was coming out that year, and then I said they were going to delay it, and they did all of that.
Yep, they did. But I have as you can see, I love Pokemon, but I think over the last few years have made me notice that I'm bringing it back to how it was when I was a kid. Like, I loved Pokemon when I was growing up, but obviously it was not the cool thing to do type of thing. And I'm just like going back to it. I'm just like, fuck all of that. Like, seriously, fuck all that. I like Pokemon. I like Pokemon games. Bulbasaur is my main man. I hope I can get Bulbasaur in the game. If I can't, I've got the new grass type quick starter and everything, and I can't wait for that. And I'm looking forward to this game. I think it's probably going to be the same as what normal Pokemon games are compared to what Legend Arceus was this year in the beginning of January. But no, either way, I am looking forward to this. It's going off what I've read a little bit, like it's open world, so that's obviously looking like they're sticking to the same metrics of what Sword and Shield was, or probably even combining a little bit of what Legends Arceus was and everything. Like, I'm just so happy about this. I love Pokemon a bit. I can't wait to get this when it comes out later this year. That looks amazing. I won't lie, Amy. And I can't wait to see more about this game and everything. And just like, they literally showed us basically nothing. They showed us a little bit of the glimpses of the world. I won't lie, it looks better than Arceus does. I'll say that because Arceus is a little bit choppy.
Why was there a man, a security guard man, walking around with a torch for ages?
That's just Nintendo, Amy. That's just Nintendo.
I feel like this is Nintendo.
That's just Japanese in general. Like, they make it crazy. They think so outside the box when they think of how they're going to reveal something. They go beyond that.
It wasn't like crazy so much as it was just weird. Like, it was just like, what's going on? Like, what's going on? And then, like, my favorite part was, and then it started. And we were streaming this. I'd stopped playing Elden Ring so we could watch this. Then I went back to Elden Ring, and literally the entire fucking time this was happening. Like, so from the moment the trailer started, not the bit with the guy walking around with the torch, the trailer started, literally all I could hear in my headset was Moody going, "Is Gen 9? Is it Gen 9? This is Gen 9. Is it Gen 9? Maybe it's Let's Go Johto. No, it's definitely Gen 9. Maybe it's not Gen 9. No, it's not. It is. It's not. It is. Could it be Arceus? Like..." He was having like an existential breakdown in my head, and I was just like, sitting there
Sword
going,
and Shield DLC again?
It looks like Sword and Shield, but it looks like Arceus as well.
Yeah, I went crazy. I really did. My brain went crazy that one. But no, yeah, I love Pokemon, and I can't wait for this game. Bring it, whatever. I can't wait.
Can we talk about how fucking pointless the rest of the stream was for a second.
Yeah.
Like, people are gonna watch that, right? If people watch the VOD for that Elden Ring thing, right, and then they get to the intermission, as I called it. Like, if they just go straight to the intermission to see what our thoughts on Pokemon were, like, they're probably gonna be wondering why I was so fucking salty for the first 12 minutes, because I was like, right, I'm gonna stop playing Elden Ring. Like, we'll talk about that at a later date, in depth. But like, we'll stop playing Elden Ring, and I'm gonna watch this Pokemon. And if I swear to God, and I said before the stream started, I swear to fucking God, if this is just Pokemon Go and Pokemon fucking Cafe, I'm gonna lose my shit. And I was true to my word.
You really were. You were salty at me throughout that entire stream, and I loved it for it as well.
I feel like I literally said, this better not just be Pokemon Go, and then Pokemon Go came up on the screen, and I was like, well, I've set the tone for this the rest of this part of the stream. And I was like, fuck this.
But Amy, Pokemon Cafe has a Bulbasaur day. They're talking to me.
They add the Pokemon in with the big tall tree Pokemon in Pokemon Go, and I was like, it's so tall you can't even see it. What was the point?
Executor.
I did like but there's a Bulbasaur day. It's cool.
Yeah.
So you're playing Pokemon Unite? No,
I'm not playing Pokemon Cafe. No.
Was it Cafe? No, yeah, it was Cafe.
Yeah. Unite was something different.
The biggest laugh was when they did Arceus. Was it Arceus? Where they were like, look at all this Arceus stuff. And then it was like, Pokemon Legends Arceus. Software update. And I was like, you just spent all that time and I'd take a patch.
Yeah. And the patch is out. And I've got I used the code to get the Pokeballs as well.
Here's some free Pokeballs for wasting 14 minutes, 12 minutes of your life.
Yeah. Exactly.
I don't have the game yet, Moody.
You don't
I don't have the Pokeballs yet.
No, but
it's on my list.
It lasts till the end of March, I think. So you've got a
we'll
while.
See if I get it. Fingers crossed.
Yeah. And
then I got to play it. That's the other thing. Triangle Strategy comes out on Friday, so we'll see what happens. I'm really excited for that game.
And yet you're still playing Elden Ring.
Well, I'll play it. That's my on-stream game. And I guess I'll play other games off stream, or I'll stream like all the time for the next 2 weeks or something.
Yeah, no, but yeah, I'm yeah. I won't lie. I agree with what you were saying. Like, it's weird they picked a Sunday.
That was one of my points of contention. I was like, why are they doing this on a Sunday? Like, man, like it's Sunday. Don't do this.
Go away.
Sunday afternoon. I should be napping. Napping.
Well, you weren't even doing that.
No, I thought about it, then I was like, I've got time. I could play Elden Ring. I don't care if nobody shows up because it's a Sunday afternoon on the stream. I just want to play Elden Ring.
That's true. But I'll say this right now. It looks like another 12-hour Pokemon stream coming from me later on this year.
Get the energy drinks ready.
Amy's gonna be. Oh God, no! I'll go crazy if I.
For me,
for you. No,
because I'll be.
I bought you a water canister for a reason. Use the bugger.
I do. Well, I don't use the water canister, but you know I've been drinking more fucking water, Moody.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. I'm happy.
Don't have anywhere to put the damn water canister. We didn't think this through.
Oh, I didn't think. I just saw it and went, Amy's looking like she wants it. She just can't get it.
Well, you
right
turned
now.
around at me and you said, would you use this if I bought it? If you had it? And I went, well, yeah, of course I would.
Yeah,
and then you just picked it up and marched off, and I was like,
I said, which colour do you want? Well, purple, of course.
Purple.
So are you going to get Pokemon Violet, are you? I just realized.
No, I am going to research which Pokemon you get with which Pokemon game, and I'm going to get the Pokemon game that has the Pokemon that I actually want in it. This is not going to be another Sword and Shield incident where I get the wrong Pokemon.
Because you wanted Rapidash, didn't you? Or Ponyta.
I wanted Ponyta.
The fairy type Ponyta, yeah.
I got the other one.
I can't remember what did it.
It was
you got the bird, yeah. Which was he was awesome.
Oh, yeah, I'm not going to deny it, but I wanted Ponyta. I've seen a thing on Etsy which is a Ponyta. I think it's a model, and it's Ponyta, and it's Pikachu riding Ponyta while wearing like a Ponyta like thing, and I was just like,
Oh,
I
God.
need this
this.
right in my house right now.
I don't care about Pokemon that much, but I need that.
This might be the most adorable thing I've seen.
Yeah. Well, I won't lie, like, even though you're not like the biggest Pokemon person compared to what I am and everything like that, when we go into like game or something like that, when we're hanging out, like you go to the plushies the same as I do, and like we're going, that looks cute as a Pokemon.
Pokemon are cute. I like them.
Yeah.
I got this before I'd even played a Pokemon. Like this is from before when I played Sword and Shield. Like I like Pokemon, the creatures, and I don't have anything against the game. I just never played any. Like for the most part, I've never had a handheld. So like the mainline Pokemon games always passed me by because I was like, I don't have a DS, I don't have a Game Boy. There's never anything like where it was like, I don't like Pokemon. It was like, I don't have a way to play Pokemon. Until now.
So the game's names are Pokemon Scarlet and Pokemon Violet.
Scarlet and Violet.
Yeah.
Colours.
That's 120 quid down the drain for me.
Fair. Well, why don't you buy them both, and then I can just borrow one off you, and then then I'll just give it back when I'm done.
You know what? That might actually be a good idea. You just tell me, Moody, I need this one. Which one? Scarlet. Okay, there you go.
And you can, and then you can have it. And
I'll just smash Violet.
You'll smash Violet. I'll be like 10 hours into Scarlet, and they'll be like, "Hurry up, Amy! I want my fucking Scarlet back."
Yeah, eventually I will be like, Amy, I've got my team for Violet. Now I need to start my team for Scarlet. Amy, I need Scarlet back.
Amy, put Elden Ring down, Amy. Amy, stop playing Elden Ring. It's been 10 months, Amy.
Ah! I can't hear.
Okie doke. Shall we? No, we're gonna do podcast. We're gonna do the halftime show, the podcast halftime show. It's time for Indie Game of the Week, Moody. Now,
let's scroll down.
Are you reading or am I reading?
Oh, you're reading, but I'll go into that. It's halftime show, ladies and gentlemen. It's time for us to talk about the Indie Game of the Week, which Amy has picked, and she's going to talk about and tell us all about it right now. Halftime show, go.
So Indie Game of the Week this week is a game called Ixion. I found this by playing the demo as part of Steam Next Fest. It was the last demo I played on the stream. I'd never heard of it before. I downloaded it because I thought it looked kind of cool, and it took me an hour to play through. It's like a prologue demo. And I was like, this is pretty cool. So Indie Game of the Week, Ixion. Authorized by Dolos AEC, you will guide the Tikan space station onwards in a perilous journey to find a new home for humanity. Station infrastructure, population management, exploration, survival, these responsibilities fall to you. Ixion combines city building, survival elements, and exploration into a thrilling space opera as you explore the stars. Propelled onwards through a perilous journey, you are the administrator of the Tikan space station, charged with finding a new home for humanity. Keeping the station sound and flying will require a deft hand and strategic thinking as you are constantly pulled between maintaining hull integrity, bringing in new resources, and managing power consumption. Ixion is coming to PC via Steam in 2022, developed by Bulwark Studios, developers of Warhammer 40,000 Mechanicus, and published by Casado Games, publishers of City of Gangsters and Rise of Industry. There's a link to the game in the description, wherever you're getting this podcast. So yeah, I played like an hour of it. It's an interesting sort of mixture of a city builder, like it says, because you build out the inside of the space station. Like you're dropping the buildings and stuff everywhere, and then you've got to like send out your ships to like gather resources. You can do events, stuff will happen, explore, and not dying, which is always handy. Like. Like running out of food, crashing into something, your ship might just blow up. It's like the prologue. I'm not gonna lie, the prologue demo is basically by the necessity of how the game it operates. It's basically a tutorial all the way through, because there's a lot to like figure out and do and stuff. But it's pretty easy to get to grips with, which I like. Like you remember when Crusader Kings 3 came out, and I was like, it sounded so much like something I would absolutely love.
Yeah.
I just can't wrap my head around it.
Yeah.
Like, even after a tutorial where it's like, with Ixion, it was like, I have wrapped my head around this pretty well. So, and it looks pretty cool. Like, it looks fun. And it was fun for an hour.
Yeah, I just had a look at it. It looks really interesting. I'm interested by those type of games, and I kind of like them as well. So could be
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah, it was despite it being like constantly managing resources survival game, and I'm sure like it'll pick up in intensity after the tutorial that I played. Um, it's pretty chill. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it was a pretty sort of chill sort of experience of just being like, oh, I'm just clicking stuff and making sure like this bar doesn't drop, making sure I've got food, etc., etc. It does have like a story, and the end of the demo made me like laugh out loud on stream, like because I thought it was really funny. Um, everybody gathers because like the prologue is basically you setting the station up ready to do a test jump somewhere, to test to make sure the space station works properly. So you fly to the moon, and then this fucking CEO guy who's like blah blah blah, and he's giving this really long speech about how he's like, we can save humanity and stuff, and everybody's like on the ground like counting down the launch and stuff, like yeah, like cheering and stuff, and then the Ixion, the space station, goes boosh into like its thing to go to another star system and blows the moon up. And then the demo ends, and I was like, that's fucking funny. I mean, it's dark humor, but it's still pretty funny. It's just like, bang, the moon explodes, and everyone on the ground's just like, oh shit.
We would be, oh shit, there's no doubt about
I mean,
that.
we're dead at that point. We're done.
We are
It's
dead.
over. But I did find it really funny, and I don't know if that was the intention or not, but it made me laugh. Shall we jump back into some news?
Let's go for it.
Let's go for it, indeed. The UK games industry is struggling with Brexit. Apparently, Brexit was a terrible idea that destroys everything it touches. This is from Colin Campbell over at gamesindustry.biz. He writes, the UK games development industry is suffering from a labour shortage, partly driven by the pandemic and a surge in demand for games. This shortage and its attendant inflation in salaries has been exacerbated by the implementation of Brexit, which has added significant expense and time investment to hiring talent from Britain's neighbours in the European Union. Simon Hope, recruitment director at employment agency Aardvark Swift, great name for a company, says, quote, we have over 300 jobs advertised live on our website right now and another 300 waiting in the pipeline. It's crazy, really crazy. Ultimately, there's only so many people to go around, end quote. Hope says that prior to Brexit, around 20% of his placements in the UK came direct from the EU. That number has now dropped to 5%, mainly due to a reluctance among EU nationals to move to a country that is now outside the EU. In the past 2 years, an estimated 200,000 EU nationals have left Britain to return to the continent. Most of Aardvark Swift's clients are UK-based game studios and publishers. Prior to Brexit, hiring an EU employee required minimal paperwork. Now, companies must sponsor each potential employee from the EU, apply for visas, and pay expensive healthcare surcharges, quote, high four figures, and that's before family members, end quote, which previously existed only at a nominal level. Employers must prove that they have made a valid attempt to seek out applications from UK citizens. Hope estimates that the entire process can now take 3 to 4 months. Little wonder that potential applicants prefer to take jobs inside the EU. John Holmes, founder and studio director at Liverpool-based Milky Tea, another great name for a company, says hiring new talent is a major headache which threatens the company's bottom line. Quote, before Brexit, 3/4 of our applications came from the EU. That's gone. British companies are all scrapping for the same talent, and that's pushed salaries up at least 20%, which makes a big difference, especially if you're making a lot of hires, end quote. Holmes says that although there are short-term workarounds like hiring contractors and emphasizing a commitment to remote work, they all have their costs and practical downsides. Longer term, he says, Britain could become a far less attractive destination for international development talent than in the pre-Brexit era. John Clark, CEO at Curve, says, quote, if you look at countries like Poland, Serbia, Spain, and others in the EU, you see those regions supporting their studios with investment. Nationals returning home to those countries, either because of the pandemic or Brexit or both, are finding good places to work in their home countries. They are being made to feel safe and secure at a time when Brexit makes them feel uncertain about the UK, end quote. Curve chairman Simon Dinsey, not Disney as I was reading it, like the entire time I was reading this article, is a former chair of the association. I was like, what? Disney involved in this? Is a former chair of the Association for UK Interactive Entertainment. He points out that plenty of other countries and other industries are struggling with COVID-related labour shortages and wage inflation. In such circumstances, high competition for talent and visa delays are understandable. Quote, skilled workers can get a Tier 2 visa and the salary thresholds are low enough that it's not a problem for this industry. I think it's more of a sentiment problem. There has been a reduction in the number of EU nationals living in the UK as a result of Brexit. There's no shadow of a doubt that's had an impact, but UK companies are still hiring people from the EU, end quote. Even so, the current climate calls for practical solutions as those companies compete with one another to hit their release date and innovation targets. Since COVID, Milky Tea has committed to remote work for all employees using central offices as social hubs and secure locations for servers and equipment. This gives the company freedom to work with contractors and freelancers in the EU, offering them long-term contracts without counting them as full-time employees. However, this solution presents its own problems. Quote, even something like IT can become an issue. We ship them equipment, we pay taxes on that. Then when the equipment needs repair, it all has to be shipped back, end quote. I actually cut a lot out of this story, if you can believe it. There are human difficulties too. Contractors cannot claim benefits such as pensions, and many feel exposed by the lack of a full employment contract. Companies are obliged to invest in remote onboarding protocols and on helping freelancers with chores like filing their taxes. Remote work has a host of challenges that game companies are currently struggling to resolve. At the same time, some employers and employees prefer the in-office option and are keen to get back to pre-pandemic work patterns. Longer term, British employers are beginning to work more closely with universities to create a talent pipeline that can repair the ongoing shortage. Holmes praises establishments like Teesside University and the University of Central Lancashire, with which he's cooperated on training and workplace initiatives, but he cautions that it takes a long time to take a promising graduate to senior level. Dinsey adds that universities will not succeed in closing the talent gap as they currently stand. Quote, the courses should be more vocational and more directed to useful skills. We need to examine whether universities are engaging enough with the major employers in this country to make sure their courses are geared towards putting people into employment, end quote. So while there are short-term fixtures and long-term opportunities for plugging the talent gap, they all have their costs and their risks. What is certainly true is that this is a problem that's not going away anytime soon, and that games industries and employers in the UK are finding Brexit's restrictions difficult to navigate.
Yeah, that's no doubt about that. And I think what did Disney
See?
Dinsey has nailed it on the top nailed it right on the head on itself on just on universities and colleges alone. Like, as you know myself, I've said in many cases I am in education right now, learning to become a video game developer and everything. And I've said all the time my aim is to become a QA tester. The downside for me, now I'm looking at it and looked at it more broadly, is that my college is looking at the wider industry, not focusing on the individual parts, what many companies need. QA testers, level designers, 3D artists in general, and everything like they make, for me, looking at going off from the course I've been doing for the last few years, especially the last 2 years for HNC and HND for this year, they're trying to create people to become like producers, directors, heads of studio, basically learning about multiple stuff to rise up and everything. So they've tried going up what I'm just going off what I'm learning. Teaching, I almost said that. Learning.
You're teaching me.
They're teaching us stuff that's further down the line, not now. What the industry needs in everything, and like what I've just gone through. Like I've gone through like just some of the things that I said on the thing of like the sites and everything. Like multiple places have sites in positions for a lot of different places that for different I can't say the word I'm trying to think of right now. My brain's professions in the industry, and but most of the time what hurts it right now, and I think my teacher John might be spot on here, is that the industry is going to hit a wall soon, and it might be starting to hit it now, that every place I've applied for or wanted to apply for are all looking for seniors, leads, people who are already in the position to go into these new positions and everything like that. No one's ready for them. No one is ready for them. No one's ready to go up to that level yet or anything like that. So I think there's not enough seniors out there because all the ones who are would have been seniors are all heads and getting kicked out because of their idiotic sexism and racism and the whole shebang, which we'll talk about on other things shortly, and everything. It's really a bit crazy what's going on, and then you take into the thing of Brexit that is completely crippling the country itself. We have a shortage.
Sorry, Brexit ears. Did you think all of the bad stuff was going to happen like at once, and then we get over it, and not over a sustained period of time where it was going to get exponentially worse? Well, I got some bad news for you. But so it's
Amy never forgives or forgets.
I don't need to forgive, or I don't need to forget, because Brexit is just an exponential problem that's going to get worse as time goes on. Yeah, what it sounds like is, it sounds like there's 2 points I think that you brought up that are interesting, and I say interesting in like a horrified way of like, oh my god, this is a mess. Which is, one, studios are looking for people in senior positions, and because the pipeline isn't there in terms of sending people up like through from the UK, like in UK game devs aren't ready to go up to that step yet. Like they would normally fill the gap with getting people from the EU, which is now incredibly problematic, whereas before it was simple, because we had freedom of movement between 26 countries, and now we don't. So that seems to be one thing. And the other problem, I think this is a part of the problem of that, is you when you talk about your college experience, so what you're talking about is you're being taught loads of different things instead of a specific skill set to get you a job in a specific part of the games industry.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I see why that could be a very big issue.
Yeah, when I'm doing the units, I'm trying my hardest to try and say, so how can I bring QA into this?
Right.
One of the units I'm doing is a narrative task.
Right. Yep. Sure.
I'm like, I ain't gonna touch narrative.
Interesting, but
interesting all it is, but I'm not gonna touch narrative. I ain't gonna do that unless
helpful.
I can somehow break the story while I'm trying. Like that somehow. I can't do it. Like.
Game critique.
I call that the rise of Skywalker, but either way.
Yeah, I call that JJ fucking Abrams, but that's just me.
But that's basically what it is. Like I've got like there's tons of people in my class who are absolutely amazing at what they're focusing on, but it's also, you can see, including for myself, it's a distraction. On the other things are a distraction. When big take down, I've got a couple of people, like one of my people I don't want to, I'm not going to say the names, but like some of them, like some amazing 3D artists just for their age. Some of the stuff I've seen is amazing, but they have to go off and then say, okay, now I have to teach myself 3D. I have to teach myself talk about something about a narrative.
Yeah.
And I have to do something about like some of the 3D artists who don't know really anything about level design. I'm getting taught level design when I'm just like, they don't want to know about that.
So you're actually on a course. You want to be a QA tester in the industry. So you're actually on a course with someone who is an artist. Is going to be a 3D artist on a video game, and people who are going to be designers, like various different types of designers. Do you have like coders and programmers as well? Mixed into this one catch-all course, right? I can see exactly why that's not going to work. And I'm assuming that this is similar across the board in terms of other colleges and universities. Now they're teaching game design.
Yeah, and some of the universities, at least around where we live and everything, like, because I'm not going on to call it university, but some of my classmates are intending to, and even I've spoken to them and they've said themselves, it's pretty much the same here. Where we're at now, so we're not going to be we're going to be learning about the wider aspect instead of the more focal aspect.
Yeah,
which is a bit crazy to me. Like I can understand it if you want to become a game director, or you want to become a CEO, or you want to own your own company one day and do that type of thing. You need to know, you need to know all aspects of it. But like for me, I just want to be a QA tester and break the fucker. But for others, just want to create amazing artistry for this thing. Okay. For the game, code the levels and everything like that. But we're distracting ourselves with other things. Like I'm doing a freaking thing about emergent technology right now.
So you
I'm
can
like, okay,
break
that's to what I've read from the unit. No, I have to research what emergent technology is coming.
Oh, that'll be fun. We talk about some of them on this podcast.
I've already picked the one I'm going to do, so it's
Cool,
alright.
that's cool. Like, yeah, so that I could see why that would cause a problem in terms of workforce problems because you would. I mean, I get why it would be useful to have some small knowledge of other departments.
Yeah,
Like, if you're a QA tester, it'd be useful to know about design and level design, like, because you're gonna break the shit out of it, right?
yeah,
Like,
no
but
doubt.
not like a full on knowledge of like, here's how, like, we're gonna teach you how to build your own level. It's like, no, I need to know how to break it. Like, that's what I'm trying to figure out here.
Yeah.
That's okay. That is fascinating. Yeah, I can't really.
The
speak
worst
to
thing
that,
for
so.
me is that there's nothing for me for QA compared to it. Like, I have to try and basically bring it all in to
Okay.
try and mix it in and everything like that.
Yeah.
But when it comes to like if someone asks me, "Oh, can you test this?" I will happily test this type of thing, and I will find a way to break this freaking thing. But they don't like try and train someone to say, "You want to become a creative? That's awesome. We're going to train you what you exactly need to know, where you're going to go, and what you and stuff like that." Same goes for 3D and everything. They've branched it out so wide, it makes it hard to focus on other things. And that's
I wonder if sorry, go on.
No. And I was just going to say, and I love my college, but my God, it's also vexing.
Yeah, like I wonder if the answer to this, and you know, as a side benefit, the answer to the job problem in the games industry specifically might not necessarily be to like take the focus away from learning institutions of like universities and colleges and have game companies themselves set up in apprenticeships of some sort, or like something like that to specifically like say we're going to hire people who want to be QA testers to teach them how to be QA testers, like
Yeah.
in a practical environment. We're going to hire people to do art, programming, coding, level design, other design, PR, marketing, like just go all across the board. And like, because like at a university, because like I do sort of see where it comes from in terms of a college and a university, where it's like if your college split down that course into design, programming, art, etc., it's like how many people would actually be in each class, and would it be cost effective for the college to actually run it?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a. I think it's just a problem, but it also hurts at the same time. Is that we have a lack of teachers as well. It doesn't help that either. So it's a whole thing and everything. But yeah, I've noticed that I like that. I didn't really pay attention to it last year because obviously I was going through other stuff. But now because I'm a little bit more wiser, a little bit more or less crazy than what I was last year. I'm just noticing a little bit more, especially I think was what's happened with me and a certain teacher and everything. I'm just like, why am I doing this?
Right.
Why am I doing this?
That's
like,
not
why?
a great thing to like come to one realization of like, why am I even doing this?
Well, I know, like me and my partner, like I even said, like, I was like, do I go back for this year for one final year, or do I just go for it and go and try and find something? And I'm kind of a little bit happy I've still gone in there because I have learned some things that are important for QA. But when it comes to it, like the grander thing, I didn't start learning properly about QA stuff until last year, my HN, and that's my third year last year. This is my fourth year now. And I'm just like, this is crazy. They need more focal point, but at the same time, when you got a lack of teachers, it doesn't help you.
Got a lack of teachers, like it's gonna be like most things. Unfortunately, I'm sure the solution is not simple and will require outside of the box thinking. And that goes for what you're talking about, all the way up to the solutions to how Brexit has fucked the UK games industry. Like, we will need outside of the box thinking, unfortunately, for the whole thing. And then wider, just in terms of like the entire fucking country. Because we're fucked.
Country's a lost cause.
We are fucking screwed. Jesus Christ.
Let's just start building on top of it like Futurama.
What if we like get a saw, really big saw, right? And we just cut a part of the country away, and then we just paddle away and declare independence, and we'll be our own country. Yeah, I mean, I think that's.
I've seen the line already. I follow a certain thing on Twitter, so I'm like, I can see where we can cut.
It'd have the added
push
benefit.
It away.
It'd have the added benefit of if we did that to that line, Scottish independence would just be automatic, right? Because we'd cut past and then they'd float off, and then we'd float off.
Well, no, we'll probably stick with them because they ain't that bad.
We like Scotland. We like Scotland. We really do. Anyway, let's move on. We're going to talk about the number one PlayStation story of the week that's been on everybody's lips. After we talk about this PlayStation story, Sony dismisses alleged sexism in the workplace as, quote, run-of-the-mill, end quote, staff behaviour. This is from Rhiannon Bevan over at The Gamer. He writes, last November, Sony was named in a gender discrimination lawsuit. A former employee accused the company of passing her up for promotion on the basis of her gender, paying female employees less, and firing her when she spoke to HR about the sexism she experienced. Now Sony is seeking to have the case dismissed. In its own statement, Sony lawyers state that the accuser, former IT security analyst Emma Major, has, quote, failed, end quote, to make a case, claiming that she does not cite any specific internal regulations, policies, or practices that indicate Sony discriminated against women. This is despite the fact that she cites specific instances of alleged sexism, even accusing multiple members of staff by name. As reported by Axios, Sony's statement continues, denying Major's claims that it violated labor law. Quote, despite the sweeping breadth of her lawsuit, the allegations in which SIE categorically denies, she fails to plead facts to support either her individual claims or the claims of the broad-based classes of women she seeks to represent. Major fails to identify a single policy, practice, or procedure at SIE that allegedly formed the basis of any widespread intentional discrimination or had a discriminatory impact on women. Her widespread claims of harassment are based solely on unactionable allegations of run-of-the-mill personnel activity, end quote. Major claims that women at PlayStation were kept on lower pay levels despite performing, quote, substantially similar work, end quote, to men. She also says they were denied promotions and therefore pay rises but would maintain, quote, similar job classifications, functions, titles, and or duties, end quote, to their male counterparts. Major says she was fired after she brought these concerns to HR, with the official reason being the closure of a department, one which she says she was not part of. PlayStation. For the players. I have a couple of thoughts.
Cool.
So Sony's I've read through this statement a dozen times now, right? PlayStation's response to this. And what it seems to boil down to comes down in the final sentence, which is, quote, her widespread claims of harassment are based solely on unactionable allegations of run-of-the-mill personnel activity, end quote. Now, boiling that statement down seems to indicate that PlayStation is saying two things there. One, she can't prove it, or she's not proving it. Two, this is all just run-of-the-mill personnel activity. Like, allegations of based solely on unactionable allegations of run-of-the-mill personnel activity. And if a company wants to tell on itself as much as Sony does right in that sentence, where it's like, oh yeah, all of this discrimination and harassment that has been described, well, you can't prove it, and it just sounds like run-of-the-mill personnel activity. Like, if that's run-of-the-mill personnel activity, PlayStation, I think you desperately need to change some things. Right?
They're dismissing it so easily, and it's disgusting and very worrying to think that a brave person has come out and said all these things, and now I can just imagine other things that are happening in there, and I'm worried for it. There's no doubt about this. Sony, at the end of the day, I'll just say this: like, any allegation needs to be taken seriously, and it sounds like you aren't taking it seriously whatsoever. You're just like, well, by our laws, you can't prove it, so we're gonna get away with this so long, type of thing. And it's, I hate when we talk about this, because
You know what's coming next.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's the thing about it. We know what's coming.
Yeah.
We know what's coming.
But, like, it's... I don't know. It's the dismissive nature of the statement. Like, I always expected PlayStation to say, like, you know, we don't want this lawsuit. Let's try and get rid of it. That was a given from the moment we read this. We and very few other people read this news story last November. But it's the way the statement speaks. It's the language the statement uses. And like I say, I think that last sentence is more telling than PlayStation realizes it is. Her widespread claims of harassment are based solely on unactionable allegations of run-of-the-mill personnel activities. So her claims were that women at PlayStation were kept on lower pay levels despite performing substantially similar work to men. They were denied promotions and therefore pay rises despite doing similar jobs to their male counterparts, and Major herself claims that she was fired when she brought these concerns to HR, with the official reason being that a closure of a department that she was not a part of. Sony's response to that is those are widespread claims based solely on unactionable allegations of so they're saying that's run-of-the-mill personnel activity.
Yeah. Yeah.
Am I losing the plot here, or am I putting these two things together, 2 and 2, and getting 17? Or, like, because I'm putting these two things together and I'm looking and I'm going, that's actually really, that's a really terrible look.
That's incredibly terrible look. There's no doubt about it. You have gone bonkers before. We know this.
I mean, I know I've lost the plot on
You've lost the plot on many occasions, but
sure.
No, you are spot on the plot here, and yeah, they are literally just. Let's just be frank here. What we'll get onto it shortly in another story. Which has to be added and everything like that. But the entire industry has had their head in the sand, hearing nothing for years, especially when this thing has been going on. And like you've said already, nobody's talking about this, which is disgusting. And everyone should be ashamed of themselves who does podcasts, who does content creators, who does journalism, or anything like that. Needs to be talking about this. And I'm sick of this. Until further down the line, you'll only start paying attention when it's important. It's important now. It's important now. I'll say more on that later.
Yeah. Real talk, though, before we continue.
Go on, yeah.
I think I'm going to keep this here from now on. I like it.
Respect.
Kind
of jealous.
I just realized it had a clip, and I was like, is there something I can clip this to? Like,
I now need a Bulbasaur here.
I can't even remember where I got this from. But if you can find like a little Bulbasaur, so it's got like a little clip.
Well,
you can see it on the
I
bottom.
have a little Bulbasaur. It's just he won't clip on.
Yeah, it came with
He's a Funko Pop.
It came with the clip, like attached to it. I suppose if you could see Elfie, she's crafty, and like if you can get like a clip, and maybe she can attach it to your small Bulbasaur somehow, then you could. Because it fits perfectly on there. Like I can point Sylveon up a bit, I think. That's even better.
Yes, you can. That's even better. It really is.
It's covering my face too much there.
Oh no! Don't hide me, though.
No, I don't hide myself behind Sylveon, except when I'm playing Elden Ring. Anyway, should we move on to the actual story that's been talked about by PlayStation?
What everyone's been talking about, yeah. Go on.
Classic games will reportedly be a major part of PlayStation's Game Pass rival. This is from Jordan Midler over at VGC, who writes, PlayStation's upcoming in-development Game Pass competitor, Project Spartacus, is, quote, pretty close to actually launching, end quote, according to a journalist. Speaking on his premium Giant Bomb show, Grub Snacks, paywalled, transcribed by VGC, VentureBeat's Jeff Grubb claimed to have obtained new information on Sony's yet-to-be-announced subscription service. Quote, it's probably getting pretty close to this actually launching. Something's probably going to happen by the end of this month. Okay. And I don't think that necessarily means publicly. I think in terms of the internal milestone of where the service needs to be, end quote. According to the journalist, Spartacus will be comprised of 3 tiers priced up to $16 a month. Quote, right now they are called Essential, Extra, and Premium. The pricing, again, could be a placeholder, but the pricing is $10 a month for Essential, $13 a month for Extra, and $16 a month for Premium, end quote. Grove went on to explain what he had heard players will get for each tier. Quote, for Premium, $16 a month. Do you get full games? Not really, kinda. It's like EA Play, you get full game trials. So, no. The answer isn't not really, kinda. It's no. Sorry. I don't know if that's for every single game that comes out, but it seems like that. End quote. While PlayStation has offered game trials in the past for certain titles, Grubb implies that all PlayStation first-party titles could offer these trials as part of the premium tier. Grubb continued, quote, you also get classic games and streaming. None of the other tiers will have cloud streaming. You also get classic games. He then expanded, I don't know what classic games means, but I do know that it's a major part of this premium tier. So you have game trials, classic games, and streaming on this premium tier, end quote. PlayStation has been the notable exception in recent years when it comes to providing access to its huge back catalogue on modern platforms, and Nintendo would like to have a word with that statement. While Xbox Series users can play certain games from as far back as the original Xbox, the PlayStation 5 can only play PlayStation 4 titles natively. Quote, for the extra tier, you get a downloadable game catalog. Anything on PS Now that was downloadable seems like it would be here. Grubb says includes 250 to 300 games, something like that. You don't get cloud streaming, but you do get 300 games you can download. Essential is PS Plus with monthly games just like you know it today, end quote. The current PlayStation Plus offering includes cloud saving, monthly free games, and discounts. PlayStation players also need a PlayStation Plus in order to play games online. This doesn't apply to free-to-play titles.
Basically, it's what I thought was going to be. It would be a tier system. We've spoken about this, yeah.
When Joseph was on the podcast, did we talk about this? Or did we?
No, I think it was just you and me.
Okay.
I think it was just you and me when this was announced. But no, yeah. This is not a surprise, what we were going for. They were never going to do the same what was Game Pass.
No.
This
we did talk about when Joseph was on, because we talked about it when we talked about the Bungie news. Where it's just like people need to wrap their head around the fact that Sony cannot afford to do Game Pass like Microsoft does Game Pass.
Yeah.
Like, it's just not viable for a company that doesn't make as much money as Microsoft. Microsoft is losing money on Game Pass.
Well, it's like they're the second market share when it comes to like profit in general and when it comes to video games, but because of the acquisition of Activision, Microsoft literally jumped from, I think, fifth or fourth back up to third, and they're literally just like a couple of million away from jumping Sony. So, like,
that'll be the next studio acquisition.
Yeah, probably, yeah. Unless they just buy Sony. But no, yeah,
it's like Pac-Man and Ghosts, like waka waka waka. It's coming for you.
That, yeah. But yeah, no. For me, I know like a lot of people. I've seen a lot of people poo-poo and like the tier system and everything like that. But like, for me on my end, yeah.
Damn, like I'm gonna be honest. Like my feed hasn't really been video games for the last few days, but
that's fair.
That doesn't. What? Why? I'm curious. Why?
Oh, 9 times out of 10, it's just Xbox's better offer. That's literally just the argument. Yeah, and absolutely. I even agree with that. I said yes, it's a great offer. That's it. No, honestly, that's it. You know these people. You know the internet. They don't give you proper reasons why. They just give it like, Xbox does it better, so that's better.
Game Pass is better.
It's shite.
Like, no shit. Like, Game Pass is always going to be better. Like, at least currently as it stands with what Game Pass offers versus anything PlayStation could possibly do to offer a similar service, Xbox's offer is always going to be better.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. But no, I like what this sounds. I won't lie. Because like, if you think about it, like, if you go to the max premium with $16, which would probably be like 25 quid for us.
60, yeah. Oh, well, I was going to say, like, right now it'll be like 12 quid, but yeah, you're right. By the time Brexit really hits, it'll be like, whoa.
Yeah, it'll be 25 quid for us.
Yeah.
To think about that, like, you possibly get like a trial, and if it's like the substantial hours of like, say, 10 hours, that'd be pretty good for the.
Yeah.
It's depending on the size of the game, like Horizon, like freaking hell, like 10 hours of that, you only got through the prologue basically to get to that, and whatever other games and everything. And like, and I think you'd be able to get a good substantial amount of where you probably say, I want to buy this game or something like that. You know?
Yeah, like I think and you'll get a discount because you're a PlayStation Plus premium member.
Yeah.
Which might bring the price back down to reasonable, because £70 isn't reasonable for a video game. But yeah, like I don't mind this. Like it's there for people who want to use it. And it's not for it's like the expansion pack, Nintendo Switch Online expansion pass, where it's just like the extra stuff is there for people who want it, and you don't have to have it.
We already know that Game Pass people don't play the old games that much.
Yeah.
They know this. We know this. Xbox have even said it's on there, but people don't play it that much. They know they're not going to play it, and Sony knows they're not going to play it, but they're going to have it there because they have a better offer.
Yeah, it's value. It adds value to a subscription to the subscription tier of PlayStation Plus, whatever the fuck this is going to be called. Yeah, like I've never denied that. Like when I'm talking about video game preservation, I'm not really talking about. It'd be great if places like PlayStation and Nintendo let me buy old games, but like I'm talking about from an artist, like Indiana Jones, it belongs in a museum type thing, right? It's just like if you've got no interest in keeping old games alive, let's sort it out in some other way. That doesn't involve piracy, like. But that's a side note. Like it's fine. Like it was never. Like I guess I'm just coming into this with the expectation of it's never gonna be. It was never gonna be Game Pass.
Yeah, we knew this. Well,
I actually had someone tell me to my face, like at some point in the past week, PlayStation are gonna do their own Game Pass at some point, and I was like, no, they're not. They're never gonna do that because they can't afford it. Like, but they've got the biggest games, right? They do, and they want you to pay. They want you to pay £70 for them, or however much a game is going to be. And B, like they can't afford to take the loss. They go out of business as soon as they did PlayStation Game Pass, and God of War Ragnarok came out on that service. Like they'd probably have to like shut half their fucking studios for the money they just lost. So, like, looking at this, and knowing what I know about how the video game business works, which admittedly is not much, but knowing what I do know, I'm looking at this going, this is pretty good for what PlayStation can do in this space.
Yeah, I think it's fair.
However, it's all this rumors and scoop stuff, so it's probably never going to happen. Should we talk about the DICE Awards? We're going to talk about DICE.
Pretty decent when it comes to when it gets.
I don't look
stuff.
right. After the Mario Kart 9 debacle and the Switch Pro debacle and the Silent Hill debacle, I don't trust them anymore.
Yeah.
And I'm sick of hearing about it.
Yeah. That's true. That's fair. Yeah, let's talk about the DICE Awards.
Let's talk about the DICE Awards. I think we're going to spend probably the rest of the news section of the podcast talking about the DICE Awards. Should we talk about some of the winners before we talk about the other stuff?
I want to talk about the other stuff as well.
We're going to talk about the other stuff as well. Don't worry.
Okay.
We're just going to start with. Should we talk about the winners first? Like, because me and you both said when we looked at the Game Awards and we talked about the awards from the Game Awards, we both said, "When's the DICE Awards again?" Because we were like, "This is the one we actually want to see." The DICE Awards is by and for game developers.
Yeah.
I want to see what they think, and I did get to see what they think, and I'm looking at this and I'm going, yep. I personally either agree with or can see where they're coming from a lot more than I could with the Game Awards. Let's talk about it. I'm going to read them out. I might stop at certain points. If you want to stop to talk about any specific one of these games, just, I don't know, cough or something. Or just start talking.
Fair.
All right, so we got Outstanding Achievement in Animation and Outstanding Achievement in Art Direction. Both went to Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, which is cool because that's a very fucking fine, sexy-looking game.
Oh, going off what I saw of it, it's a
Yeah.
pretty sexy game.
Outstanding Achievement in Character, Resident Evil Village, Lady Dimitrescu. She took over the internet for months last year, so you can't really argue with that.
Can't.
Outstanding Achievement in Original Music Composition, Returnal.
And audio design.
Yeah, the Outstanding Achievement in Audio Design, Returnal. Yes, I wholeheartedly 100% am behind Returnal winning something for its audio design. Its audio design is magnificent. Like, having played that game.
But the original music composition, you're questioning that, it sounds like.
It's not that I'm questioning it. It's more just that, like, it's probably just personal taste, but, like, I disagree. Like, in terms of all of the game soundtracks that I heard while I was playing video games last year, there's, like, tons where I would say, like, for me personally, I preferred this to Returnal. I preferred Death's Door, for example, to Returnal. Lake was another one that I'm still listening to this day. The Nier the Nier Replicant soundtrack was fucking amazing. Like, stuff like that. But, like, Returnal had good sound. So, in general. And anyone who's played it will probably be sitting here nodding furiously, going, "Yes, it did. Yes, it did. It sounded amazing." Outstanding achievement in story: Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy. Which I
Going off what we both stated, going off what we've played of that, we were like, we can see it.
I can see it.
We can see it. Yeah.
Yeah. It's just a shame we both ended up having like game breaking bugs. Because I really did want to play that game to the end from what I played of it. I was really digging it. Like that and Metroid Dread, for reasons that are outside of my control, are two games that probably would have been in my Game of the Year list if I'd been able to play them.
Yeah, agreed.
Outstanding technical achievement, Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. Yep, I said that from the moment it got revealed, where it was showing you what it was doing with the SSD. I was like, fucking Jesus Christ.
Yep, there it is.
Holy shit. And yeah, delivered on that. Action Game of the Year, Halo Infinite. Yep.
Can see it.
Yep.
Understand.
Fair. Excellent game. Loved it. Number 2 on my Game of the Year list.
Yep.
Adventure Game of the Year, Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy. Family Game of the Year, Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. An actual family game, not It Takes Two. I promise I'm not going to do too many takes at the Game Awards here. Fighting Game of the Year, Guilty Gear Strive. Racing Game of the Year, Forza Horizon 4. Role-Playing Game of the Year, Final Fantasy XIV Endwalker. Sports Game of the Year, Mario Golf Super Rush. Strategy Game of the Year, Age of Empires 4. There were Immersive Reality Technical Achievement and Immersive Reality Game of the Year, Lone Echo 2. Outstanding Achievement for an Independent Game, Unpacking. Moody, this game, you know how hard this game hit me. Because we talked about it.
Yeah. Top 5, wasn't it?
It was number 3. Yeah, it was one of my top 5 games of the year. Like, it fucking hit me so hard in a game where all you do is put stuff in places. That's it.
It's amazing.
And I thought it was
I enjoyed what I played. It just, when it came to like, I didn't connect with it compared to what you did.
I think, and I've seen this replicated because I've read a lot of stuff about Unpacking now that I've played it. And like there is a moment in the game, and it was like this for me, and it was like this for a lot of people, where it goes from being this is a fun puzzle game, like this is a fun, relaxing puzzle game, to there's like a story moment. Where you do a certain thing, I think, in one of the chapters, and then the rest of the game hits differently after that point. I've seen multiple people talking about it. If it's an if you know situation. Mobile Game of the Year, Pokemon Unite. Online Game of the Year, Halo Infinite.
Not surprised.
I am a bit. I would have thought that would have been Endwalker.
Actually, I forgot. Even though if you just said Endwalker, my brain just went.
Yeah, I don't know. But Halo Infinite was a great.
I don't know, now I'm trying to think about it. Yeah, I see where you're coming from, but like Halo was like, it was truly everywhere, and then Endwalker came like the last 2 weeks of the year. But Halo, I think because Halo had that early start, because Halo's multiplayer was out in November, wasn't it?
It was out. So, it was out like a month before the game came out, in beta. But like Endwalker was so popular, they had to stop selling it.
Stop buying our game.
No, the servers can't handle it.
Yeah. Who would have thought that? A company says, please stop buying our game. We love you. We really do want your money, but our servers can't handle it.
They went one step further. They didn't say, please stop buying our game. They said, we are going to stop you buying this.
It's insanity. Our servers are going to fry.
It. Like, our fucking Tokyo server hub's on fire, guys. We need you to stop.
Yeah. We don't need a tan today.
We have liquid cooling only in the sense that there are people standing in the server room with fire extinguishers firing them at the servers. That's what our liquid cooling system is right now.
Oh, God.
Our last 3, outstanding achievement in game direction was Deathloop, and the outstanding achievement in game design and game of the year was It Takes Two, which I can see all 3 of those.
I see all 3. But even though we've stated in many cases the story elements of It Takes Two going away, that is very upsetting, and it just took us out of the game altogether. Throughout the entire year, we've all said game design, It Takes Two is arguably a masterpiece. It really is. What it does is perfection, and I can't state anything else more than that. It really is pure perfection when it comes to its game design. Direction when it comes to game, Deathloop, I can't really say anything because I didn't play it.
Yeah, it's
but
it's like, yeah, the direction is very, like the game direction itself, it's very purposeful and everything it does, and it does a lot really well. But it does like it's very specific, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
it wants to do very specific things, and it achieves it.
And Game of the Year for It Takes Two, yeah, that's a game dev's wet dream. That game, it really is.
Well, I always say, so I said this in the Letters review that I published last week, where I said it's a game that, and I praise games for doing this all, small indie games for doing this all the time. It's a game that does one thing, and it does it really well, and then it knows how far it can stretch that one thing, and then it stops. And I love that in games. It Takes Two is like the polar opposite. It does a million things.
It
does all of them well.
Yeah, that's how crazy it is.
And
it
takes the one thing, and then just as you're starting to think maybe this one thing is maybe starting to like lose its life, it goes, no, we're going to do something else now, and then we're going to do something else. And then, like that's like
genius.
Yeah, how they pulled it off, I will never fully understand. So yeah, congratulations to all of those games. But that wasn't the only thing that happened at the DICE Awards.
Yes.
Gaming awards show host gets on stage, says, "Fuck Bobby Kotick." This is from Jeremy Winslow over at Kotaku. He writes, Bethesda executive producer, and I cut out like the opening paragraphs. Bethesda executive producer Todd Howard opened the night with a monologue about, quote, the turmoil and uncertainty in the world, end quote, particularly as horrific events unfold in Ukraine. He talked about Wordle and The Sims before handing the stage over to Greg Miller and co-host Jessica Chobot. Things got spicy from there as Miller called out Activision CEO Bobby Kotick. After joking about Cyberpunk 2077, Metroid Dread, and NFTs, Miller said, quote, "Fuck Bobby Kotick," end quote, to claps and cheers from the audience. It was a brief but critical moment, especially since the Game Awards host Jeff Keighley was criticised for refusing to overtly name names in December. Generally, while many visible figures in the games industry are willing to decry the general idea of harassment or espouse the values of diversity, it's much rarer to hear any specifics about what those remarks are in response to or who the bad actors causing the issues might be. Miller told Kotaku via email that while he was prepared to debate the show's producers and writers about including such a clear critique in their speech, he not only didn't have to, but was also praised for being so upfront. Quote, "As we got closer and closer to the DICE Awards, I knew what I wanted the monologue to say, something real about both NFTs and the abuse that's been allowed to run rampant in the industry. I'd seen Jeff get blowback from the Game Awards for not naming names, so I was prepared to fight to get stuff like this in. As for the crowd, I don't think they expected us to go so hard. There was a usual smattering of laughs and groans, but there was the addition of stunned silence. Everyone who approached me afterwards said they loved it and stood by the message. No one told me I was wrong." And then my favourite line in this entire news story is the end. Kotaku has reached out to Activision Blizzard for comment. Do you have any comment? Fuck Bobby Kotick. Do you have any comment on that?
So, there's no doubt about what Greg Miller's saying there. It's absolutely spot on. Like, Jeff Keighley was a big old wimp and didn't stand up for things that were probably important.
I think Jeff Keighley did it wrong in two ways. Like, he did it wrong multiple ways, but he did it wrong in two very specific ways. His speech was pointless. Like, he might not have even bothered. Like, he shouldn't have even bothered. The fact that he was pushed to do that by a backlash that happened before the Game Awards, because he said he wasn't going to do it. And then he just got up on stage and said a bunch of nonsense that didn't mean anything, and then went, "Hey, let's check out the next game from Quantic Dream." It was the very next trailer.
And here's Ubisoft.
Abuse and abusers in the games industry is a very serious problem that we need to eradicate. Now, let's see what the abusers are working on. Like, is basically how that speech came off. And props to Greg Miller for going up on stage and just literally saying it. Just literally saying it. Like, I don't watch his content as much as I used to a few years ago. But he always came across as a pretty genuine guy, like, all the time.
Yeah.
Very
he has faults, there's no doubt about it. But he comes across as a very genuine guy. Now to the fault. Where were you, Greg, and to everyone else last year? Not last year, the year before, with the Ubisoft stuff. Where were you to the years before that with Riot Games? Where were you? Where were any of these who of all the places have talked about the abuse in every tons of places? Where were you then? You weren't anywhere. You may off camera mention it or small little dib on the camera, but you never really mentioned it. You never held them to account, calling them out every time. Not saying you don't have to work with them, not take their games or anything like that for codes and everything like that, but like what we've said on many occasions, you can call them out. And thankfully, going off what I've seen, you have started to kind of do that now. Like when it comes to like stuff, like when it comes to like Activision, when they've still talked about their stories, they've been like, yeah, but like, you know, let's not forget, like, where for the terrible things that happen in Activision, he holds that, he does that. Where were any of you? And I still say this to all you content creators out there right now who are doing nothing, who are saying nothing, who just allow it to go without any repercussions. You can still work with these companies, but you can still hold them accountable. Have some morals. Have some empathy. Like I said at the beginning of this bloody episode, when we got to the news stories, the lack of empathy. There is a lack of serious empathy in the games industry from content creators who all they want is their little game codes and the little merchandise that they could get from them, and from journalists who just are content creator, over content creator, podcasters, just say, and everything, who just don't hold them to account whatsoever. And it's deplorable. Like, Greg, I think you're an amazing person. Like we've just stated, like, I think you are one of the genuine ones out there. But at the same time, you should have been doing it more earlier. Should have been doing it earlier.
Like, but I'll never criticize someone too harshly for like being late at the party, right? Like, right.
If it was us, Amy, I could completely understand it, because we are literally just sorry for putting in. I do apologize to that. Like, we are people who would literally just listen to the industry and just talk about it and just play games 9 times out. These are people who are literally journalists who worked in the industry, and if you tell me they did not know about any of this, that I do not believe that at all.
Yeah,
that's the thing about what annoys me. It's like, you telling me you didn't believe that, I will literally call you a bare-faced liar, because I don't trust you and I don't believe you at all.
Oh yeah, I
for
mean,
this.
Like, yeah, okay, that's fair. Like, like, I mean, I'm not saying the criticism isn't valid and justified.
Yeah.
Like, I've seen Greg Miller talk about better Ubisoft last year, sometime late last year. When a game came out, don't ask me which one, I don't remember. He was talking about playing the game and then linked to the petition, I think it was, from a better Ubisoft at the time.
I think it was Far Cry last year. I think it was last year's Far Cry.
Sure. Like, so that's exactly the behavior I think that me and you have been talking about, where it's like, play the games, talk about the games, review the games, enjoy the games, love the games, highlight the abuse.
Yeah,
it's all part of the same thing. It's all part of the same chain. And like, yeah, sure, like Miller or anyone specifically not speaking up earlier is something I think you can rightly criticize them for. But by the same token, in terms of Greg Miller specifically, he's here now. Let's get him in the door and let's fucking get something done about, like, you know what I mean? Let's, like, he's got a big platform. And he's got a lot of people to talk to. And if he can talk to all of those people about this, that's great.
And I hope so. Like I said, the guy, like, he pushes it. He does, and like, he doesn't hold back whatsoever. And I'm like he said in the statement, like, he saw the blow back to Jeff and everything like that, and like, yo, Jeff, you deserve that blowback. Let's just be frank here. He doesn't take no prisoners. He literally just goes, now, I'm going to say this, and everything, and they went go for it and everything like that. And that's what I love about. That's the thing about it. The industry just told you. The industry told him, yes, go for it. We don't mind, because we agree.
Yeah.
We want you on our side. We want you all on our side, because that's what the thing. We're the ones who's hurting. It's not you guys who are hurting. It's us who are hurting, and we want you, but we want your support to help us. and you're not supporting us.
There's an
type of thing.
Yeah, there's like the industry, because again, this is the DICE Awards. The industry said, yes, go for it.
Yeah.
The industry then stood up and I don't know if they stood up actually, but they applauded. Like when
I've seen the video. They applauded.
The industry then afterwards told him that was awesome and we stand by it. So like, there's 3 instances there of the industry. The people who work in the industry, the people we talk about as being the important parts, not the actual companies. The people in the industry are saying, "Good job." That's your cue, everybody else. That's your cue. Yeah. Take that cue.
To take that baton, what he's just that baton, what he's passing to all of you, and then separate it and pass it to everyone else.
Yeah.
And then separate and pass it more, and you can become an army who can stop all of this and hold the companies accountable properly.
Like, make it an uncomfortable environment. Make it so that every time Ubisoft or Activision Blizzard or any other company that engages in abuse or is covered for abuse or continues to practice abuse, make it uncomfortable for them to say anything.
Yeah.
Every time they talk about, oh, we want to talk about Call of Duty coming out this, yeah, like, okay, that looks cool, but also all of this.
Yeah. Like I stated at the beginning, like, that probably when our next Ubisoft game I probably will play will be Avatar. I'll say this right now. If I review that game, the thing that starts it's not going to be me talking about the game. It's going to be me talking about the sexual harassment and all the crap they've covered up and everything like that. And please go and support these people. Now let's get onto the game, because hopefully I will be saying this is a game you should be supporting because the developers have created something amazing here. That's what I hope. That's what I hope to transition into and everything. But Craig Miller has passed you the baton. Now carry it all the way.
Let's go, matey. I mean, we were already going. Everybody else is
we're ahead. We're 5,000 miles ahead.
And have you seen us? We're not running. Like, we're not running people. Like, you can catch us up dead easy.
Yeah, trust me. Yeah.
All right.
We limped that one.
Yeah,
far.
like I'm crawling. Like, just like I'm totally out of breath. Let's speed run through the tidbits.
Go. You must love the first one.
We'll see. Like, oh yeah, in 15 years when I get to play it, yeah, it's great. We got some tidbits. Discussions are rumored to be ongoing between Microsoft and Obsidian to develop Fallout New Vegas 2. Now, yes, I would love a Fallout New Vegas 2. Fallout New Vegas is one of my favorite games of all time. What I will say, I will direct you to my previous comments, Moody, about rumors, game journalists, Nintendo Switch Pro, Silent Hill, and Mario Kart 9, and say, fuck off.
Fuck off.
I don't want to hear it. I'll believe it.
Yeah.
I'll believe it when I have an Xbox controller in my hand and I'm playing Fallout New Vegas 2.
And that's completely fair and understandable, but yeah.
But yeah.
Anyone who loved New Vegas, I bet they were just like,
What?
What?
No, that was literally me when I saw it. I was literally like, what? No, don't give me
Don't
hope.
do this to me.
Don't give me hope.
Don't give me. You're like Hawkeye in Endgame. Don't give me hope.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, exactly like that.
And there'd be, like I said, Phil Spencer behind you. I'm sorry it took this long to give you some hope. Like, God damn you, Phil.
Maybe Phil only bought Bethesda because he wanted Fallout New Vegas too.
Basically, yeah, pretty much.
It's like we bought Obsidian, so like it's like, and we bought Bethesda, and it's just like this is your strategy all along.
Yeah.
Knockout City.
Part of the plan.
It's all part of the plan. Knockout City's gone free to play and ditching EA and self-publishing. It'll also, there's rewards for people who've previously purchased the game with in-game currency, but like that's fascinating. That's a fascinating series of facts.
There's no doubt about it. Like I never touched the game, but when you did play the game, and I think you even said yourself, you really enjoyed what you played. Yeah.
I said before Halo Infinite came out, I think it was like my favorite multiplayer game of the year last year. Like,
not sure. You said a lot of things, so
I mean, I say
and
all the time.
And I forget a lot of things really easily.
I'm just mentally scrolling through my game of the year list, being like, I think Halo Infinite was the only multiplayer game on the list.
Potentially, yes.
Yeah.
I don't think I had a multiplayer game on my list, but anyway. Great success though. Going ahead, I had nothing but love. People who played this game said it was fantastic and thought it was fun and everything. And if they've obviously done enough to possibly be able to self-publish themselves. So I hope this keeps on going for them. And well played.
It's fascinating. Like, I'm going to be fascinated to see how this progresses and evolves. Like, the game evolves away from here, because I'm not against going back to it and playing it again. If anybody wants to hit me up, play Knockout City, it was a fun game.
The only thing I can think of is that EA's voice was against going free to play, but also was saying, well, we're not but they might have thought we haven't made the money of what we were hoping we were going to make. So if you want to take the game, just take the game. It's yours anyway. So
yeah, cool.
Maybe they've just done that.
Maybe.
And if that's true, good on EA a little bit. It's weird to say that. But 9 times out of 10, they just say we're shutting down the servers. No, then we're going to shut down the company.
You're all dead to us, metaphorically. Okay, next one.
Yeah.
Dead. I can't even say it with a straight face. There's been a Dead by Daylight dating sim trademarked by the developers of Dead by Daylight. Okay. I don't think I'm ready for a dating sim with
monster murderers.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You tell me I can date. Like, think about all the characters in that game. Like, not just the original characters, which all look really cool, but like all of the licensed third party characters in a dating sim. I don't think I'm ready to comprehend what that could possibly mean.
Probably not.
That's me gulping. It'd be like, oh,
I heard that.
Oh crap.
I heard that.
Oh dear. This could just be an April Fool's joke but I don't know why they would trademark for an April Fool's joke, but it might not be, and I don't know how to react to this. I'm a bit worried for myself.
I'm not worried for myself, so
I mean, yeah. What if they? Well, here's a chain of events, because they partner up, so you could date Pyramid Head potentially. They could partner up.
I think your brain just broke that a little bit there when you said that.
So if Dead by Daylight play their cards right, and they make a dating sim, and you can date the killers and the monsters that are in the game, and they partner up with Capcom to bring Resident Evil characters to Dead by Daylight. And one of the characters that they bring from Dead by Daylight is Lady Dimitrescu. And then Lady Dimitrescu ends up in Dead by Daylight, but also in the Dead by Daylight dating sim. You see where I'm going?
Yeah, I know where I'm going. I know where you're going.
I gulped again. We should go. Let's go.
I'll be on the other side. I'll be literally like, I'll see you on the other side.
Moody's
when Amy comes back, her hair's just sparked up.
Moody's hosting the podcast with someone else, like, for a week, and it's just like, where did Amy go? It's like the Dead by Daylight dating sim came out.
The first character is Lady Dimitrescu.
Yeah, one of the love interests is Lady D, so she's gone.
I messaged her on Monday. She hasn't even seen the message yet.
It's been 7 days.
I don't know if she's alive.
I just got the sweat emoji back. I don't know what's happening. Speaking of losing Amy, Elden Ring hit 764,835 concurrent players on Steam, which was 6 times more than Dark Souls 3 ever achieved. And you remember that cool ranking that we talked about when Lost Ark came out of like top games ever played on Steam? Elden Ring's in 7th.
Respect.
Like, it's people playing this game, Moody.
I think so. Someone was streaming it.
Someone
on twitch.tv/wordsaboutgames.
/wordsaboutgames. Someone is committed to streaming it because it's a great streaming game. Speaking of Elden Ring, the CEO of Japanese developer Pocketpair gave employees paid time off to play Elden Ring.
Sir, can I take that week off? The weekend off, and so the play Elden Ring?
They're just talking like the people in charge of that company are just like, a lot of people are going to call in sick to play Elden Ring or are going to be too distracted from work thinking about playing Elden Ring. Why don't we just give them the day off so they can play Elden Ring?
have a long weekend, and then they can just get it out of their system and come back on Monday, and hopefully we can get our game paid.
Yeah. And then everybody can be focused and on the game. I approve and applaud this decision.
I approve. It was it's you don't hear things like this often. So
You don't,
to hear things
no.
like this. It's like
It's
really
good.
funny.
Square Enix says Guardians of the Galaxy, quote, undershot initial expectations, end quote.
Not surprised by this.
No.
Not surprised.
Too many people got burned by Avengers.
People were poo-pooing on it when it first was revealed, and they were so unsure about it. And then when it started coming out, they heard great things about it, but we even heard ourselves, it's a little bit buggy.
Well, we found that out firsthand.
And we found that out, and then you take into consideration of Avengers, yeah, they were burned.
Yeah, I think that's what hurt it a lot, right? Like, it looked a bit too much like, and even though it's not, like, Guardians of the Galaxy is in a completely different galaxy to Avengers, like, in terms of, like, they're completely different types of experiences, but it did look quite similar to Avengers, to enough people to be like, I did play Avengers and it went great.
Yep.
Square Enix is also considering more 2D HD remakes, which I'm all for because I think those games look really pretty.
Bring it on!
Bring it on. Here's an interesting one, which almost was a full news story because I think this is really interesting. There's a new mainline Fire Emblem game rumored to have almost finished development and could release by the end of the year. Which is, it's interesting. Like, where was it at the Direct? That's my question. Like, because this is just a rumor. So I'm taking it with a grain of salt. And that grain of salt says, if it's nearly finished and it's coming by the end of the year, my grain of salt is, why didn't they just show it when they showed Fire Emblem Warriors, whatever it's called?
When's Warriors coming out?
Summer.
Well, it's soon, isn't it?
It's got to be the first half of the year because that's what the Direct was all about.
Yeah, let's have a look, sis.
Never mind. I answered my own question. It's fine. This Direct, the Direct that we just watched, was about games releasing in the first half of the year. I retract my salt. Because it's coming out later this year. So, yeah, it'll be D3.
Oh my god.
I answered my own question.
If that's true, what the hell's Nintendo doing this year? I've seen a list already. What we already know is coming,
or potentially.
And
coming.
if what we know is coming, what's locked in it with a date for this year, then you throw in potentially. But
you're talking about
Breath of the Wild, 2, Bayonetta 3,
Fire Emblem. Because this isn't. This could potentially be happening throughout 2022. This is now at this point we're in the phase of realistically these games could and might potentially even be likely to come out in 2022 at some point. This is why this was almost a full news story before we pivoted and did other stuff. Because Breath of the Wild 2, you just mentioned, Splatoon 3, Kirby, Fire Emblem, Bayonetta, Mario Kart DLC all through the year, because it's going to be dropping in waves throughout 2022. Hollow Knight, which I know isn't a Switch exclusive or a Switch developed game, but it is a big deal for Nintendo Switch in terms of indie game representation. It is a big game. Metroid Prime 4 has got to turn up again at some point. They restarted development 3 years ago. Like, I know, like, it was announced and then they restarted development, but that was 3 years ago, Moody. They've got to bring that up again at some point.
Fire Emblem Warriors June.
Yeah. E3. What I'm saying is, Moody, keep your fucking eyes on Nintendo. This summer. Because someone needs to be in the room with Joe Medforce where that showcase happens.
We need him on stream. We need to do reaction. We need him.
With a defibrillator. Just to bring him back. And yes, we need him. We should try and get him. I'll message him after this. Actually, Joe, I know you listen on the podcast. So if you hear this pod, and I haven't messaged you because I'm very forgetful, let me know if you want to team up for Nintendo's greatest direct ever.
Oh, if you just want to team up for E3 or whatever the hell that is in summer, in June, you hit us up. Let us know.
Yeah, even if it's just for the Nintendo one. Nobody wants to be a part of the Ubisoft one.
It might be funny to join us anyway.
Yeah, just sit in chat as we just roast Ubisoft for a couple hours. Right. Wow.
Sammy.
Huh? Right. I think you know what? We've talked about this a little bit in tidbits, right? I'm gonna say, because we could talk about this for a while. Let's put a pin in it. I'll DM Joe tonight after we've recorded this podcast, and I want to bring this back up again next week and get him on the podcast, and we can talk about what kind of Nintendo might potentially be about to unleash on us.
My wallet's next to me and I can see it burning away. Saying, bye, I'm leaving. I'm out.
Like, even my Nintendo Switch is like, what? We're doing what now?
You didn't touch me last year.
You've barely touched me since 2020.
The last game you used me was Monster Hunter Rise, and that was so long ago.
Oh my god.
It was 84 years.
I'm about to fucking blow my Nintendo Switch the fuck up. Right. Yeah, we're putting a pin in it. You're
gonna blow on it, and you're just gonna see smoke.
It's getting hot. It's getting hot. Turn it off. No. It's too awesome. Right. I'm putting a pin in it. We're going to get Joe. I'm going to get Joe at some point. Hopefully next week, maybe in the future. I'm going to book him on and we're going to talk about how fucking awesome Nintendo are going to kill us this year. Nintendo are going to kill us this year, basically, is what I'm getting at. But for now, let's do games out this week because we are, as always, a little bit pressed for time. On March 1st, we've got shitloads of games coming out this week, by the way. Shadow Warrior 3 hits PlayStation, Xbox, and PC. Shadow Warrior 3 launches the offbeat first-person shooter series to the next level with a seamless blend of fast-paced gunplay, razor-sharp melee combat, and a spectacular free-running movement system. Conan Chop Chop comes to PlayStation, Xbox, and PC. Conan Chop Chop is a party roguelite for 1 to 4 players full of mayhem, loot, and adventure. In this outrageous take on Conan the Barbarian, you are the muscle-bound hero foolish enough to try and stop the evil wizard Thoth Amon. LX2 comes to PlayStation, Xbox, and PC. In this sequel to the vintage open-world RPG, LX Jax must once again unite the free people of the science fantasy world of Magalan against the new threat, the Skyans, who want to change the face of the planet forever. Far Changing Tides comes to PlayStation, Xbox, Switch, and PC, and is also going to be available day one on Game Pass. An atmospheric vehicle adventure that follows the emotional journey of a boy and his ship as he embarks on a voyage to find a new home. Little Orpheus comes to PlayStation, Xbox, and Switch, and PC. This definitive edition of the multiple award-winning hit by master storytellers The Chinese Room is remastered for the big screen and includes all bonus content of the original. A hero will emerge. Pants Quest comes to PC. Pants Quest is a tiny, lovingly crafted point-and-click adventure game about finding your way in life and your pants. Sometimes just getting dressed and leaving the house feels like an impossible task. Follow one man's emotional journey to deal with the hurdles that life can throw at you on a bad day. On March 3rd, Babylon's Fall comes to PlayStation and PC. Experience acclaimed developer Platinum Games' signature combat in Babylon's Fall with up to 3 other players, or take on the Tower of Babel alone. This new cooperative action RPG. Beholder 3 also comes to PC. When a high-ranking security officer saves you from prison, you end up a pawn in her schemes. Now you must eliminate anyone standing in the way of her secret plans and try to get your life back while working 2 jobs. No tenant, employee, or superior is safe from your spying. And on March 4th, Triangle Strategy comes to Switch. Command a group of warriors as Serenoa, heir of House Wolfort, in a tangled plot where your decisions make all the difference. Key choices you make will bolster one of 3 convictions: utility, morality, or liberty, which together make up Serenoa's worldview and influence how the story will unfold. When faced with truly momentous decisions, multiple characters will weigh in by casting their votes on the scales of conviction. Gran Turismo 7 comes out on PlayStation. Whether you're a competitive or you know what Gran Turismo is. What Lies in the Multiverse comes to PlayStation, Xbox, and PC, a bombastic puzzle platformer about worlds turned inside out. Shift dimensions at the push of a button, solve brain-twisting logistical riddles, and race through the wilds of the multiverse in a bleakly hilarious and hilariously bleak story where everything you know can turn on a dime. That one's Elf Daughter approved. She played the demo of that and has been raving about it. Last tier games. A musical story comes to PlayStation, Xbox, Switch, and PC. A musical story is a rhythm game set against a 70s backdrop. Explore the memories of Gabriel, a young man trying to come to terms with the situation through the connections to his musical memory. And lastly, Survival Quiz City comes to PC. Survival Quiz City is a multiplayer survival quiz action game where only your smarts and skills will help you survive. Players answer questions and divide into two groups, winners with correct answers and losers with incorrect answers. Fight to win each round and survive to become the winner. This game looks absurd, and I feel like we should definitely think about checking it out, by the way. Survival Quiz City. I'm just going to throw that out there. It looks ridiculous. But we'll talk about it later. Because it's time to end the podcast on OpenCritic Head-to-Head. This is the game myself and Moody play every single week where we try to guess the OpenCritic average of one upcoming game. Whoever guesses closest to the score gets 1 point, and if you manage to guess the score completely correctly, you get 2 points. Last week we tried to guess the OpenCritic average of Elden Ring. I guessed it would get a 90, Moody guessed it would get a 91. At 1 point, Elden Ring was the best reviewed game of all time on OpenCritic. Now it's only second best with a 96. Which means Moody gets the point and Amy gets a once-in-a-generation game, I guess. Which puts the scores at Amy 4, Moody 2. Elden Ring, baby.
Elden Ring, indeed.
Elden Ring, baby.
Even though I was like, I said like the highest I was going to go. Like I almost went to 94, and you kind of talked me out with like how you were talking about the games. Yeah, but the Souls games, I can't fully remember. But you basically kind of talked me out. But I also even thought, I was thinking, do I go 96 or something like that?
Even the previous game, Sekiro, which was a Game of the Year winner in 2019, only got a 90. Like, that's what I based mine on.
Only got a 90.
Got a 90. I mean, when you're looking at, like, best reviewed games of all time, right? Like, only a 90. But, like, that's what I was basing mine on. I had no idea Elden Ring was just going to fucking be Breath of the Wild.
Yeah.
For 2022 in more ways than one, because it came out 3 days after Horizon.
That's true. Congratulations to Elden Ring and From
Hell
Software.
Yeah. Fucking great. And like I've played like 8-9 hours of the game, and I mean you've seen how much I'm enjoying it.
I don't even think you've even got that far.
I've been exploring.
It says go right, you go left.
Yeah, but like it's an open world game. Moody, I'm actually enjoying exploring an open world in an open world game. Do you have any idea how unprecedented that is?
That is unprecedented.
That should tell you everything you need to know about how much I'm enjoying this game, because I'm actually exploring it. What's over here? Ooh, a cave. What's over here? Wait, what's that in the sky?
Why did I go in the cave? Why did I go in the cave?
Deathbird. That was a little bit on the nose, but I'll allow it. This week, we're going to try and guess the OpenCritic average of Triangle Strategy. I'm really excited for this game, and I don't know why. Like, just suddenly, as it's getting closer and closer to release, I'm suddenly become like I could feel my hype levels increasing, but there's like been no trailers or blog posts or tweets. It's just for some reason, like I'm thinking about playing this game, going, I really want to play this game.
3 open world games out at the same time. Well, big-ish games, because this is going to be a massive
Triangle
game
Strategy is
going
to be a fucking huge game, but yeah.
Yeah. 3 massive games in a matter of 3 weeks.
Pretty much.
That's what I say. 85.
85. That's cool. That's a cool guess. I'm just looking them up really quick. Yeah, you put your guess pretty much in the right place. I was looking at their previous game, which I thought got higher than it did. Triangle Strategy. You know what? I think by the time we sit back and look at how 2022 progressed for video games, just video games, the actual video games themselves, I think we're going to look back on 2022 as one of the best years ever. Like, I think it's going to enter the conversation as so many amazing games came out in 2022.
Amy, it's shaping up that we're going to forget about Pokemon Legends Arceus by the end of the year.
I mean, you say that like I keep forgetting about Pokemon Legends Arceus now.
No, that's how
and
crazy.
I was sat in a 20. I was sat in a
fair.
10-hour stream of it.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, weird. That is true. Yeah, like that 10 hour. What did that? What I thought it was 12 hours.
No, it was
wasn't it?
10 hours. All
That
right,
10-hour stream feels 2
feels like
years
it was
ago now.
like, yeah, it feels like it was last year. No, it was last month.
Yeah, and they just released an update now.
So like I'm thinking this is going to be a year where we're going to see a lot of big OpenCritic scores, like Elden Ring, for example. God, imagine if Elden Ring and Breath of the Wild 2 launch in the same. We're going down a rabbit hole. That's for next week. That's for next week.
What if God of War drops this year, mate? Just what? Just imagine that if that actually happens.
What if Final Fantasy 16 also drops this year?
I kind of hope so because it's on my fantasy critic.
We're going to talk about this with Joe Medforce next
year
week.
Could harm.
This year fucks. I'm just going to say it.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about this with Joe next year. I'm going to bribe him with whatever I can so we can have this discussion next week. So
yeah, just forget the stories and we're going to have a 2-hour conversation about
this. Keep it
chill,
games industry, for a week, please. I'm begging you. Keep it chill.
Yeah.
My guess for Triangle Strategy is an 89 because I think honestly, if I'm being really honest with myself, I think it's going to be in the 90s. For some reason, I just think this game is going to hit. In terms of game critics, it's obviously going to be a niche game, but I think this is just going to hit in terms of like critical reception. I don't know why. Don't ask me to explain it. It's this gut feeling I've got.
I obviously don't want you to be right, but I kind of hope you're right, just because I want to hear. Yeah, I want to hear the game. This is amazing. This is a must buy straight away type of thing. But I don't want you to be right.
I don't want me to be right. I'd love to be able to skip something. 2022 stuff.
The thing is,
you're killing me.
This is the thing is though. Like we've stated many occasions. Like last year was a great year for video games.
I agree. Yes.
That. Within 3 months, this could literally be 2021 could be slapped.
Ridiculous. This 2021, sit the fuck down.
We've got 3 potentially game of the year contenders already in Pokemon Legends Arceus, Elden Ring, and Horizon.
Yep. We've
still got 10 months left.
For reasons of time, and Amy needs to pee, and we'll do this next week. We'll talk about this next week. I'll bribe Joe somehow. But let's get out of here so Amy doesn't pee her pants. Say bye, Moody.
Stay quiet, games industry. We've got something to talk about next week.
Yeah, we do.
Bye.
Bye.